God bless America, and gentlemen, start your engine!
The V-Speed Network, QSR Simulations Next Gen Cup Series, and the #1 motorsports simulation in the world, iRacing, welcome you to the virtual World Center of Racing. And tonight, it is time for the third season lid lifter for the QSR Simulators Next Gen Cup Series at Daytona. We welcome you to the Mania Club, Champions of Hope Foundation, Daytona 250. After the clash and the duels that went on last week, the field has been set. We're ready for 100 laps, 250 miles of excitement, restrictor plate, iRacing style from Daytona. Hello, everybody. Welcome to coverage on V-Speed. I am Wesley Outland, joined alongside as color analyst and producer Bradley Cooper. As always, you can follow us on the world of X at VSpeedSim and VSpeedSim.com. Bradley, we were excited last Tuesday. I kind of said that last week was the appetizer. Now tonight's the main course. And the biggest field ever for the QSR Simulators Cup Series Next Gen are ready to go on the World Center of Racing virtually. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, you take all these cars and split them up into different qualifiers. It's a little bit different when you put them all together at the same time. And for 250 miles, you're going to find out really quick if the guys around you are stable, if they're going to be able to get around this place and last long enough. And as we talked to these drivers post-race last week, every one of them was talking about keeping their nose clean. It's going to be difficult to do at a track like this.
It certainly is, man, and we are so glad that you are joining us with our coverage of tonight's events. There's a look at the schedule ahead. Obviously, Daytona, the clash last week, the duels. Now, tonight's big race, Charlotte Auto Club. Just some of the races we're going to be watching. What are you going to be seeing on the schedule so far, Bradley, for the upcoming year?
Well, if they have as many cars that they have right now on the Sonoma circuit, that would be interesting in itself. I know that there's a lot of drivers that are just road course ringers that maybe don't do as well at these intermediate ovals. So road racing always seems to put a different name up into the top, into victory lane. I'm excited for the first road race there at week 4.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at like the first couple of weeks. We're going from Daytona to Charlotte. Auto Club Speedway. Man, I wish that place was still around. And then Sonoma Raceway, short track racing. Obviously, the schedule's going to be really exciting the first 12 weeks or so, 13 weeks actually. And then the push to the playoffs begins. And obviously, every Tuesday night, we're going to be right here with you. And by the way, the point standings are also beginning here tonight, as again, this is the first race of the points year. By the way, tonight's race is brought to you by the fine folks at Hope Foundation and Mania Club. We'll have some more information on them, but right now, let's get acquainted of what is Daytona International Speedway. Here's a look at your track info. The track built back in 1959 from the great Big Bill France of NASCAR. It is an awesome layout, 4.02 kilometers, 2.5 miles, 31 degrees of banking, 18 degrees on the back straightaway. On the front straightaway. Then there's about 5 degrees on the back straightaway, known as the Daytona Super Stretch. 4 corners, a tri-oval. It's not like Talladega where you go through the tri-oval to get to the start-finish line. The start-finish line, the flag stand right there where the Daytona emblem is inside the grass turf field here at the World Center of Racing. And we will see a lot of slingshots, I believe, possibly happen to see who will be the winner at the end of 250 miles. Here's your race analysis on V-Speed for tonight. 250 miles is 100 laps. Pit road speed is at 60 miles an hour, and I have been informed that that will be enforced. If you break it, you will suffer a penalty. Tire sets are 4. There will be 2 attempts at overtime if need be. There are now stages for the QSR Simulators Next Gen Cup Series. Stage break will be at lap number 27. They're using 100% fuel capacity, which is basically 30 to 45 laps on a tank. And this is an iRacing fixed setup, which means, Bradley Cooper, everybody is kind of like on the same scenario playing field. It's going to come now tonight of what talented e-racer wants to push it for the P1 spot.
Well, so much for that extra lap here on pacing. We're going to go green flag. I think they're already waving it off. Yeah,
they are
looks like they waved it off.
They are. They're being our buddies. They're being our friends. And this, ladies and gentlemen, will allow us now to take a look at the starting lineup for the Mania Club 250 here in Daytona. On the pole, by virtue of winning the... there it is. By virtue of winning Duel 1 and Blake Giglio getting disqualified after winning Duel 1 last week, Austin Thomas will now be the man on the pole in the 35. To his outside, Tay McDonald, Duel 2 winner in the 29. Row number 2, Tony Burleson, the 79, and Davis Greenwell in the 12. Row 3 tonight will find the driver of Bradley Wilson in the 21 and Justin Clapper in the Mania Club Hope for Foundation number 63. Row number 4, you will see Trevor Trigo in the 37. Wyatt Walker will start 8th. And your top 10 tonight will find the drivers of Jesse Gordon in the 110 and Ryan Field in the 81. That's your top 10, Bradley.
Kenny Frisbee will start in 11th position with Johnny DePasquale in 12th. Go back to row number 7 with Chris Otto and Al Likens. Is actually Dylan Picklesheimer. It looks like they missed the number there with Chris Otto. Then we go back to Quentin Stewart and Brantley Bryant for this row back in row number 9. Kristen Pena and Jason Blaney back here. So now that we had Chris Otto out of this, it's kind of a little bit off here on my side of things, but back here to the top 20, we have Matthew Montgomery and Alan Dobbs.
And rest of the lineup real quickly we'll show you with Line and Nelson. Want to make sure we get to the green flag on time, as right now the next row is set, and that will be Cosner and Pennington. I'm just calling their last names real quickly, Bradley. Moving on to the next row real quickly. Opitz and Phil Brick, the 00 and the 06. Behind them will be the drivers of Ruckriegel and Wisnowski, the 33 and the 5. Real quickly, we see Chance Leah, followed by Jared Ziegler. All the way from the back, Thomas Aaron, Austin Dowdy. Remember that the driver of Blake Giglio got disqualified in the duel, so he'll be in the back of the pack. Norman King, Galen Wunsch it actually is. Then it's John Walker and Wyatt McCombs. Rest of the grid, as you see the beautiful scenic views of Daytona, finds John Fike and Waylon Turner. And the rest of the pack finds Blake Giglio. There he is, shotgun on the field after a penalty of having the duel taken away last week. And Brent Allen in the 13. Maybe a couple of more spots. That is it of your 40-car field. That's what happened again. Tough break for Blake Giglio. He actually, took his medicine like a man. He said, okay, you got me. I'll start at the rear. We'll re-race that, and we'll try this again here at Daytona. Pace laps are ongoing, and we are about ready, Bradley, to get these guys into formation for the big race coming up here. To answer your question, Giglio was disqualified, and I have been told that I have permission to explain this. Last week, there was a hiccup by the series, but they were told in the drivers' meetings, do not use fast repairs. Blake Giglio used a fast repair. It was known at the end of the race that he did it. For that reason, his pole position was disallowed, taken away, and he had to start shotgun on the field. And as I said, Bradley, he pretty much said, man, hey, look, okay, you got me. I don't agree with it, but if the series says that, this is what I shouldn't have done, and I get it. I understand that it was an error by the series, but if they point blank say, as the race director, Bradley, do not use a fast repair, and you use it anyway, you've got to realize that there's going to be some kind of a punishment for it.
Yeah, and I'm actually receiving word right now because of that delay on the grid. It actually messed with everyone's position, refreezing the field. They were actually meant to delay the green prior to that pace truck pulling down. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take a quick break while we switch over sessions here. Wesley, I know we were excited to get this thing underway, but we're actually going to reset this field, get them back up to where they were supposed to be for tonight, and start another session. So just a quick break here on V-Speed while we round up that information, and we'll be right back. You are watching QSR Chase for our Next Generation Cup Series here for QSR Simulations. Back after this.
Back here at the World Center of Racing as we get you set for the lid lifter for season number 3. Welcome back to coverage of the QSR Simulations Next Gen Cup Series and tonight's Mania Club Citizen Champions of Hope Foundation 250 here at Daytona. We had a little hiccup and we had to reset things. It is back up and going again, as obviously Bradley Cooper. I am Wesley Outland. The field is pacing. Real quickly, down below, we'll show you the updated starting lineup grid. But Bradley, as we get you set to go here, man, obviously we're going to be watching Thomas and McDonald. You know, a lot of these drivers last week talked about, I want to be up in the front or I want to be in the back. I don't want to be in the middle of the snake's patch where the trouble could brew. And my advice is this: get in line, get to the first stage, at least to lap 27, and then let's get to the second half of the race. Let's see what happens from there. See how the chips fall.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the recipe. Just tick these laps away, get to the stage. You know, don't push yourself too far. I mean, starting in the back of this field doesn't mean much. It doesn't really matter where you begin the race. It's surviving to the end to actually finish it. And for a lot of these guys, the temperament, the intensity that we saw in the duels, it was a short stint. I don't think we're going to see that here for the beginning of this race.
To first win the race, you must first finish, as you have already saw. And we give you the starting lineup. It's been updated just a little bit, but not by much, as these drivers are beginning their preliminary laps around Daytona. 2.5 miles here at the World Center of Racing, and these drivers will be ready to go after it here in just a moment to get the grind underway for season number 3. Again, drivers are pacing the field behind the pace truck. We want to make sure that we actually catch the start this time. There was a little hiccup. Okay, come on, guys, give us a break. First race of the year. Wanted to make sure we got all of that stuff correct. And they said, well, let's just go ahead and redo everything. Make sure we have all of the quick stuff in here because obviously there is no fast repair. Want to make sure we get that out tonight with a 40-car field. No fast repair. And with that being said, pace truck is onto the pit lane. We hope you're ready. There's a look again at the race analysis, and we go green. It's time for the Daytona 250. We bring the action at the World Center of Racing. You have a race. Turn number 2, down the back straightaway. And right now, all eyes watching these drivers going down the back stretch. And currently, we are side by side on the front row, down to the inside. Keep an eye on Justin Clapper. Tony Burleson, by the way, wants to get a good race here tonight. But nonetheless, they'll work their way down to the line, put a lap in. It's going to be the 35, even though Burleson is all behind him. You're going to lead Austin Thomas with 1 lap to go. 1 lap in, 99 to go here in Daytona right now. They're back in turn 1, Bradley.
And I was watching that outside. We saw it a lot in the duels. It was at night, though, a little bit different weather in that event compared to this one. A little bit warmer on the track surface, 73 degrees, partly cloudy. That sun will heat up this racetrack. As you see, I believe that's Johnny DePasquale dropping below the line to let some of this field by. But the outside line in the duels did not get going. It took forever for these guys to actually make passes, and it kind of depended on the partners that were pushing. You can see right there with the 29 and Tay McDonald not able to quite clear here, but side draft pulling back that 35, and Tay McDonald will lead lap number 3.
Second change of the leaders of the race right now. We saw, of course, Thomas lead a lap. Now McDonald will carry Greenwell up the middle.
Wow.
Look at now Clapper, a little loose there for him, into the little wiggle there up on the high side. He's got to stop, reset, rebounce, and get back going again, as that is the man in that 63 now back to the top 6, back outside the top line in 6 as they work their way down that back straightaway. McDonald now on the inside of that double yellow line, leading them into 3.
Look how much the outside just fell apart here, Wesley. It was almost like one little hiccup, and that 12 car fell down to the inside. It was a really close call in front of Austin Thomas, but now you have to go all the way back to around the 10th position to find the 63 who's continuing to fall through this field. It's Justin Clapper back to 11th.
off into the corner again here in the early going of this one. Again, it's 100 laps, 250 miles. As right now, McDonald is the man that's up in front. Already got a couple of cars that are already off the pace, really, really slow. Dylan Pickelsheimer. By the way, I do want to let everybody know, I was told last night via QSR, he is on probation for the remainder of the season because of his antics, Bradley, that he pulled at the duels last week. In the Wanted Goons duels at Daytona, the powers that be said, okay, we're going to still let you run, but you will be strictly watched, and any shenanigans like last week, you will be parked. And Dylan Pickelsheimer just kind of right now just making laps here, if you will. He's already a lap down as they work in two.
Yeah, and watching him 2 laps down already. Brent Allen and the 13 and the 16 was actually watching. Brent Allen still at the tail end of this field. He has lost the draft, and the 16 car of Blake Giglio, rather, is up to 18th, so he's already worked his way to the middle of this pack quickly.
Watching them work through the tri-oval here. They come off turn 4. That's Giglio, by the way. Blake Giglio flying through the field, as you already mentioned, started shotgun in the back after getting penalized. And I saw some of the comments in chat. Opinions vary. I do understand that if it was a mistake made by QSR in the Cup Series, then yes, but when you're basically told, and everybody's told in the driver's meeting and on Word Doc, listen, we made a mistake. You're not supposed to be using a fast repair, and you take it upon yourself to use it anyway. For me, Bradley, that's kind of like insubordination. And Blake Giglio point blank said, okay, man, I'll take the penalty. I'm fine with it. I'll start shotgun on the field. We know how good that 18 machine was, not only winning the duel one last week, but obviously right now watching him climb through the field as he is now right up under the back end of Dowdy, DePasquale. All this going on as they work their way back up the bank in one.
And so on that outside right now, it's the 18 machine of Kenny Frisbee. They've moved around the outside. 2-for-1 special. The 16 giving the shove. Now they have the 22 of Jason Blaney just in front of them. And Tony Burleson just ahead of that on the inside line. 12 car going to try to take this lead. That's Davis Greenwell off of turn 4.
And here they come now, working through the tri-oval off of turn 4. Back down to the line. It's going to be Greenwell now. That's the primer car, number 12, up high, down low. McDonald, he's right there as they'll work their way back into the corner. Keep an eye now on that number 21 of Wilson. He's got a nice trunk full of the leader's car right in front of him as they work into turn number 2. And we are right now settling side by side as they're at full speed to the super stretch.
Got to be careful up on that high line. We've seen it go wrong for some guys. We're developing a third line. That doesn't happen this early at Daytona. Lap 8, and you're already seeing the 18 of Frisbee go again with the 16 of Giglio. He's going to go for the back of this field up here to the top 10 if he keeps it up.
And they'll work their way again down into the corner. Back to the tri-oval, put now Wilson to the lead. Bryant, Greenwell, McDonald, and Likens. By the way, V-Speed is monitoring comments in the chat. If you say anything that's really unnecessary or abusive, I'm sure you'll probably have your comment deleted. You might get a reprimand. We wanted you to have your freedom of speech and say what you want, but definitely keep it civil, if you will. Right now, Wilson in the lead. Right now, car starting out of line in the back. We're going to go 3 wide to the lead, to the inside. Watching this now. Watching the 79 of Burleson. He is right there on the bottom of the racetrack, up top. All this goes on. Great action here as we work lap number 10, closing in here at Daytona's opening race for season 3 off turn 4, Bradley.
We saw Frisbee trying again there on that third line. Couldn't get it going. The 16 of Giglio allowed him back down there. But these guys are pushing really hard, really early. I'm really surprised. I thought it would be a little bit more cordial. These guys might back it down after what we saw in the duels and how ill-handling this car could be in the corners. You can see it. It's still scraping the racetrack with those diffusers, and it's not as vibrant because it's daylight right now, and so those sparks are a little bit faded out.
They'll be coming to the line this time by. It will be 90 laps to go. Remember, lap 27 will be the stage break here tonight as they work their way, actually daytime here out of turn 4 at Daytona. Right now on the bottom of the racetrack, it is Wilson. It is Bryant now, followed by Greenwell, McDonald, Burleson. They're all in the top 5 single file conga line, if you will, down into the straightaway, heading back into turn number 1, up that 31 degrees of banking. Behind them, there are storms brewing side by side, 2 and 3 wide, as they work their way again in turn number 2.
That's your pole sitter, the guy that won the dual race. As we go 3 wide again, the 35 of Austin Thomas gets shoved down a line. They're snaking down around him. Some more elevator moves in the background. That was the 63 finding the way to the inside.
And they'll work their way again down into turn number 2. Working now off of 3 and 4. That's how fast they're turning laps now. Watch that all car up on the outside lane. This is all of this racing happening down into the corner, into the tri-oval. There's the 06. He's trying to find a way to get in line. That's Philbrick. Philbrick really had a good car in the duel last Tuesday before he got caught up in a big wreck. Right now, they are still nose to tail, and we are still side by side as they work in turn 2. And we got a caution. Trouble on the racetrack. There it is, the 42. Spinning down below the bottom of the speedway, it's John Freeman. Started the race at 27th. Now he's got to try to find a way to climb up the 31 degrees of banking right in the apex of the corner. Caution out on lap 11 of 100. Remember, lap 27 will be the stage. Here is your V-Speed instant replay. Already going northbound in a southbound lane. Maybe the 65 got a little shot. Also being collected as we look at this again, Bradley. Wow.
He's on board with Austin Dowdy in the number 8. I'm not really sure what happened here, if there was net code between these two cars. There was a pretty big check up there. It's actually on the inside, a little bit of net code there from the 28 machine. I believe that's the 28. So he got a shot. There was a check up on the inside line. Watch the 33 of Christian Ruckriegel. Just a big check up there on the inside. And
yeah. Wow. That's kind of what happened, as you said, Bradley. Just kind of monkey see, monkey do. Once that car got sideways, it just kind of started a motion of more cars getting collected. Hopefully there's not a lot of serious damage on the race cars. As, again, remember, there is no fast repair in this series. I know that's pretty much the talk of the chat box so far, but because of what happened to Blake Giglio last week, Bradley, but there is no fast repairs in this series. And by the way, I'll say this. You're supposed to be the best of the best in the QSR Simulations Next Gen Cup Series. You shouldn't use a fast repair. I know that it was something that they did for years, but over the years lately, the series I work for, eNASCAR Australia, other events, Northwest Cup Truck Series, ARCA, they do not allow fast repair. NASRA does not allow the fast repair. You want to make a run towards the championship. You want to be the best of the best. You know, don't have that little, I call it the mulligan, if you will. Like if you have a bad day on the tee golfing, right, Bradley, you can start over. Listen, we want to put on a great show for these guys. And obviously, you've got to be on your A game. You got to be careful, and you don't want to get your car tore up. There's no fast repair in the real life deal, right? I mean, if you crash, you mess your car up, you're done.
yeah, I'll say this, though, with that in mind, I think super speedway plate racing, it's always packed, it's always tight, and a lot of times these guys get caught up in things that, you know, was 15 positions ahead of them and they just have nowhere to go. So I could understand maybe a fast repair for places like Daytona, maybe places like Talladega. Right. Outside of that, you know, if you make a mistake in these next gen cars, they're pretty resilient, and as long as you get the damage repaired, you can get it back to pit road. Typically, these cars will still be at around 100% once that damage is fixed, and there's plenty of laps left here. So if you do get caught up in something, just remember this car can be fixed.
That's exactly right. And obviously the damaged vehicle policy, if you will, you'll take time. Hopefully you don't lose laps, but it's going to take a while to get those cars fixed. And we'll see what happens. We're working our first caution of the race. By the way, tonight's Daytona 250 is presented by Mania Club and the Champions of Hope Foundation. I was able to get a quote from them, and they say, and I quote, "We are super stoked to sponsor tonight's event and even more excited for Mania Club and the Champions of Hope Foundation to now be a part of the QSR simulations." For those that don't know, Mania Club was formed by a bunch of wrestling fans who found amazing ways to raise money for pediatric cancer research alongside the V Foundation and also Connor's Cure. For myself, any winnings earned, this is coming from Justin Clapper, earned on iRacing, I donate to the foundation and would love it for all of you guys if you could donate to such an amazing cause. Even if it's only $5, $1, or even the kind that jingles, it goes a long way and will certainly pique the interest in being a returning sponsor for time to come. So if you want to make a donation towards these awesome kids in the Mania Club, Champions of Hope Foundation, go to MC Champs. That's mcchamps.org. Please donate today.
Actually, a link down in the description of this broadcast as well. You can click directly on that. It will take you to their main page. And all proceeds here for, as you said, Clapper, it will be directly donated to that. It's pretty cool to have something like that. And, you know, we've done charitable events here on VSP. We're actually going to be doing one this weekend, Wesley, for walking and rolling costumes. So there's also another good cause there as well. You can check out more on that on Friday and Saturday. But watching here with Bradley Wilson, Brantley Bryant, Greenwell, McDonald, and Frisbee, and that 18 car has gained a lot of positions. But how about this with Giglio? He got the 18 up there, but then he fell back to 14th.
Yeah, what a high climber. I mean, this guy has really worked his quick way back to the front. And for all of the people that might not agree with the way he was done last week, he is saying, watch me now, watch me get to the front. And I said this when we came on the air, Bradley, when we had to give the explanation. Please don't be mad at the messenger. I'm just the guy that's got to deliver the news. But keep an eye on Blake Giglio. We saw how good his car was. We're watching him right now as we're closing in on 12 remaining in stage one. Back to the Walker's Ridge Plantation restart zone. Green flag back in the air. We're back to racing here in Daytona. Side by side, Wilson, Bryant, they'll work their way up the 31 degrees of banking. Remember, just like the real Cup cars in Daytona, stay with the simulators on iRacing. It'll take about a lap to get the full song as they work into Bradley.
He's on board with Bradley Wilson as he's inside Brantley Bryant, holding him down on the bottom of the racetrack. There was a lot of pinching on this restart, and I think that's why this outside line is hung with these guys on the exit of turn 2. We didn't see that a lot in the duels, but now we're seeing the outside really prevail.
Here they come now, working their way off the corner, off of turn 4. Right now, Wilson in that top spot. A little shuck and jive from the Goons entry, the Wanted Goons entry that sponsored the duels last week. That's Gordon. There's McDonald. All this going on now as they shuck and jive down into the corner. Holding on, stays to the inside. We're 10 remaining in the first name to the races. I'll work next time by to the line.
And a little bit of a shuffle out there for the 18. He lost a couple of positions. Frisbee wanted to go on the third line again. Nobody went with him, so he fell back. The outside fell apart, and the 52 of Bryant fell all the way back to 7th position. Here comes Tristan Pena in the number 50 machine. That's a talented young man right there. He's dropping down to the inside, picking them up one at a time in the Whataburger number 50.
Tristan Pena, keep an eye on him now. Started 17th, up 7 spots. He's in the top 10. Little bumping going on with McCombs in the 18. That 22 and the 20 and the 42, Freeman as well. Just ride and drive, be patient. That's exactly what we had. A little incident earlier in the race at the corner. One caution flag so far. Remember, there will be a stage break at lap 27. As right now, look at Greenwell right there on the back end of the leader, Wilson's car. There's a little sparks as they bottom out of turn 4. Keep an eye on Likens, the Bass Pro Tracker Boats number 3. Has got a big run on the outside as they work to the line here.
Big run for Likens. I think he's going to take it. He's got the 52 of Bryant giving him the shove. They split in the middle of the pack. Jesse Gordon's going to lose a position. I thought we were about to have trouble there with that checkup.
Boy, and somehow they held it together. Now look at this, the 21. Wilson now back on the inside of the racetrack, hugging that double yellow line. Back up on the top side. Likens now right behind the leader. Here we go. Likens, the new leader. This is the eye on the track on the right, eye on the drivers on the left, and there is the man who leads now in the number 3 up in front. That's Likens as they work their way again off of turn 4. Look behind you, though. You got Bradley Wilson right on his back door at the stripe.
All over the back bumper. This inside line is pushed ahead about 6-7 cars deep, and the 52 who got the 3 up there falls back to 8th again.
I see the focus of Likens. You just saw that on the eye on the drivers. He didn't even squint his eyes, much less blink. Watching all this happen now.
But he blinked just now.
For a moment. Watch this now as now Likens falls back. Outside lane. Here comes Wilson. Wilson up on the top. He'll carry Greenwell and Trago with him. They'll bypass the 3 as they work off turn 4. Wow.
How about that for the 52 of Brantley Bryant? He got up through there again. They're going to get another momentum swing. The 18's going to take him there. And the inside line falls apart. The 21. What happened there with the 12 and the 21 to get such a gap?
And how about Bryant, man? What a job he got. Now he's in that red 52 machine. He's now putting himself in a, if you will, a position to battle with them here. Right now, top 10, Bradley Wilson leads. Brantley Bryant second. Kenny Frisbee third. Wyatt McCombs fourth. Davis Greenwell, your top 5. Then it's Trevor Trago, Matthew Montgomery, Austin Thomas, Jesse Gordon, and yes, Blake Giglio, who started 39th, is in the top 10. We got 6 remaining in stage 1.
There's the positions gained or lost. The biggest mover of the night right now, 36 positions gained for Wyatt McCombs. That 10 car. We're talking about Giglio on the move, but how about that for him? McCombs really moving through this field.
Very strong drop for the number 10 right there, locked into the top 5 with Montgomery behind him. Now we go up top side. There he is, Montgomery, the pole man. Thomas up on the outside lane. He's got Trago down to his inside flank in the one at Goons 37. There's another push now coming from the 110. Watch that. That's Gordon, Blaney. They fight for the top 10. All this goes on with 5 laps remaining here to stage number 1. Up the hill, it's Wilson leading them in 2.
Waiting for that 24 Montgomery to get the shove that we saw earlier. However Bryant and Frisbee got up there, I don't know if it was just timing or if the inside line betrayed the 21, exactly what happened there. But the 12 of Greenwell ended up falling back, and it was such a surreal thing to see. We usually don't see cars like that just lose momentum. I don't know if it was a bad push that maybe the 12 checked up for, or if the 21 maybe had a rocket booster in the back of that thing, but he just peeled off and put 2 or 3 car lengths on these guys.
Ground control to Major Tom, if you will. Watch this with Wilson now, and Bryant jumping out of line. Giglio from the outside lane down to the bottom in that blue car right behind the Teal machine of Montgomery pushing there. Here it is, going after him. There is the battle of the 18s. Frisbee in the 18, third, Giglio, the 18 and 4th, and they are pushing to the front as they work now up the outside. Giglio will go back up top and hook with Montgomery and more in turn number 3 and 4.
You saw Giglio go to the outside, and the outside immediately falls apart. That allowed Wyatt McCombs to get another position ahead of Blake Giglio. They're still trying to get it going. A dent on the front end of that 12. Greenwell has been pushing. He's almost broke the bumper off of it.
What a push, what a shove right there. Look at the damage on the front nose of the Greenwell car, the primer number 12. Meanwhile, here comes the Amsoil 110 down to the inside. That's Gordon. He'll look to try to get back into the top 5. He goes after Fiel and Giglio, and now we try to stick him 3 wide for a moment. Poking out of line. What will happen as they work in turn number 3? It's still Wilson leading in the corner.
Stuck there in the middle. That's the 38 machine of Nathan Line. 93 on the high line. That's Thomas Aaron. He's going to be left out to dry. Wow. Have to fall all the way back.
Like lyrics to the Tom Petty song, he is free falling. The 93 pushed out of line, trying to get something going up on the top shelf against the safer barrier. Nobody went with him. Access denied. Now a second time. We'll try to go 3 wide. That's Greenwell. He'll get help from the double deuce up top. That goes on with Blaney on the outside now as they work 2 into the back straightaway.
You can tell the intensity's picked up. We're going to get the white flag next time by for the end of stage number 1. And a lot of drivers that have stepped out to try to gain position end up losing a lot. Is it worth the gamble, or do you just want to ride on the inside for this final lap?
New to the series, stage racing, and this will be the end of the first stage as they come to the line. 1 more lap to go here in stage number 1. Out in front, keep an eye on Wilson. Bryant's in tow. Also, Frisbee now looking like he's back up top side. He'll try to make 1 more run. Stage points on the line to the top 10 to start the year as they're in turn 2 for the final time of the stage.
It's going to be a big run here on the outside for Likens. He has help behind him here. 3 lines all the way back to the 54. I don't think that 3rd line's going to get anywhere, though. Who's going to step out in the middle of this pack from about 5th position? Likens falls back. Nobody's going to go with him in the 52 and a late move. He gets the 21 sideways, and it looks like Bryant's going to take it.
What a save as Bryant's going to win the stage. Wilson is able to come back after getting pushed out of line below the apron of the racetrack, entering the tri-oval. He will still have a solid top 5 for the end of the stage, and the second caution will come out over the racetrack. First for an on-track accident, the second one to signify the end of stage number 1 here in the Mania Club Champions of Hope Foundation 250 at Daytona. Brantley Bryant started 16th. Led 1 lap. It's the last lap of the stage. He'll get the opening stage of the season. Bradley Cooper.
Back here with Frisbee, Thiel, Wilson, Gordon, the top 5. Thomas, Likens, McCombs, McDonald, and Giglio. The 21 fell back to 4th. He had the lead coming out of turn 4. A little bit sideways there, and we might take it back on an instant replay to see exactly how this all went down. But it just looked like maybe a bad push there coming off the corner.
I don't think that it was anything intentional. Look at Frisbee there. He's got a push. He's got Bryant. Frisbee's pushing Bryant. Bryant's pushing, obviously, to what he can do to run down the 21 of Wilson. All this is going on as they're working back into the corner. I think this is the last lap of stage number 1 right here as you see them working down the back straightaway. And this is key, Bradley. I'm glad you showed this because you see him getting set up. You see him going 3 by 3 by 3, 3 or 4 rows behind them in that pyramid. And then you see now there's the 21. Bryant's there. Frisbee's there. There's another push, another hit. Here comes Frisbee. He pulls out a line, tries to make another run on him. Now Bryant's by himself. He got that air from Frisbee. Now it's on him. Just a little shot to the right rear. Not intentional. He didn't try to turn him, if you will, Bradley. And from that little slip, the dirty air hit the 52, got the 21 sideways, and that allowed Bryant to win the stage here.
So now that'll bring us to pit stops for the first time today. We will see pretty much the entire field. I would assume everyone going to come down this time. And any drivers getting that free pass position most likely going to stay out there with drivers like Norman King. And maybe we had, I believe, the 9 machine that was a few laps down just a moment ago of Picklesheimer. So some of these guys might stay out for that free pass, but for the most part, we're going to see this entire field come in.
Yeah, and they're all coming down pit lane right now. It looks like it's going to be 4 tires and fuel. Obviously, we know that this was the stage at lap 27, which, by the way, can I say that's a weirdly odd number? Because usually you don't see a number like that. Normally it's like 35 or 40, something of that caliber. So for them to throw the caution at lap 27, got to wonder who took advantage of pitting earlier during the first caution or who waited until this one.
So Thomas Aaron is going to work his way up to the top spot from 32nd position. Now the 93 will be the command car for this one. Looks like on that pit stop, fuel only for the 93 machine. 7.3 in the box, and down and away, Brantley Bryant, your stage winner, will be to his outside for this one.
So Thomas Aaron started 32nd. He's now the new leader, stage winner. Brantley, as we just mentioned right there behind them, we are stepping away. We take a break. We got more from Daytona right after this on V-Speed. Stay with us.
God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
Well, the field is getting ready to come back to the restart zone. They're not staying under caution very long, and we work our way back to what will be, again, another sponsor, the Walker's Ridge Plantation Restart Zone. Back underway. Now the push. As you look at the race recap, Brantley Bryant winning the opening stage, 7 lead changes, a couple of cautions, but now the push, Bradley, is where we watch this race come to the final. 68 laps now. This is where you really got to be patient, but you've also got to get to the front if you're in the back right now.
Yeah, and you can already see some of these drivers that have worked their way up to the top 10, not wanting to give up those spots. But the 110 down below is Jesse Gordon, and he's going to find trouble. Caution is out on lap 32.
Oh, boy. Caution out just as fast as we got going, and it's kind of the big one. Another multi-car kerfluffle in the apex of 3 and 4. Man, oh man, I just think a little aggressive there on the bump draft, and that's what caused these guys to go around. Keep an eye on the 34, Chase Leahy. or Leah, Chase Leah, my apologies, Chase Leah, yeah. Watch this. Longtime eNASCAR competitor, all the big shows. Good to have him running the QSR Simulations Cup Series, and just a little hiccup here going into the corner.
We're going to watch the 110 of Jesse Gordon. He drops below the apron, and then for whatever reason, fate meets the 110. I think he regrets. He was trying to avoid this, and he ends up putting himself right in the middle of it.
Man, what a heartbreak. And then there's other cars that, like you said, obviously what our discussion was in regards to having a fast repair or not for restrictor plates. So many good cars got tangled up in it because they had nowhere to go. On board, watch this replay. Oh, man.
There's Johnny DePasquale. And then the 28 there at
one
the tail
car,
end of
the
this.
one. Yeah. From
Watch
another
on board
angle,
here, King.
you're on board with King. Watch this.
Where do you go?
Oh, boy, where do you go? Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. We said that in stereo. And then he got broadsided from behind. There wasn't even a car crashing in front of him. He might have had clean air. And then the 85 Walker's Ridge entry Chevrolet, that's the one that broadsided King there, Bradley. Wow. On board with him. Look at this. And he didn't even mean to. He's sideways. Yeah.
Got down on the apron and lost control, and I think pretty minor damage between the 85 and 28. But you see there with the 34 machine, it's broken. I think Leah is probably going to be done. Leahy, which I think that car's just done for the day. It couldn't get back on its own power.
Man, that is heartbreaking for a guy that, obviously, as long as the iRacing or esports world has been around, Chase has definitely, put his staple mark in. And it's hard to see Chase car on the pit lane. Started 30th, by the way. He already started in a bad position, but right now in the 40th position on pit lane. Work being done. You see the 33. He's on the DVP. He's trying to get some repairs being done. It takes time. But you don't want to put yourself in a predicament where you're on pit road too long, but you go a lot down. But I think Chase Leahy, man, Leah's car, I think, is pretty much done for. It's heartbreaking.
There's also Nathan Line down pit road. He popped an engine. So I'm interested to see if the 34 can even get this thing back out on the racetrack. And there'll be other cautions. There's Fred Pennington. He's been sitting down here now. Hasn't went a lap down yet. Johnny DePasquale, Wyatt Walker also exiting pit road right now. Christian Ruck-Regal, Norman King back out onto the racetrack. I think it's getting a little bit easier to maybe name the cars that weren't involved in that. And, of course, there was the 110 of Jesse Gordon, who got contact from that 34 car coming down to the apron. Remember, he had dropped down on the backstretch, probably felt like, okay, the intensity of this race is getting a little bit too high for me. I'm going to drop back to the tail end of this field and just kind of sandbag, wait this out, let these guys collect each other. And sure enough, it just right place at the wrong time.
That's
wrong
heartbreaking.
Place at the wrong time, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it really is, man. It's heartbreaking. So, hey, by the way, you're watching the QSR Next Gen Cup Series. Remember, we're live every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern on V-Speed Network. And this is the Daytona 250 presented by Mania Club and the Champions of Hope Foundation. Bradley Cooper on production and color. I am Wesley Outland. Looking forward to being the anchor with you guys this year. Obviously, a long time coming. Bradley's been trying to reach out for me for working with V-Speed for a while. And finally, the stars have aligned to be able to join him. By the way, next week, we're at Charlotte Motor Speedway, America's home for racing. That'll be a fun one. We show you the schedule real quickly as we get ready for a restart. There's a look at the upcoming schedule. I know we showed it when we came on the air, but if you want to show it real quickly again, Bradley, just some of the upcoming races. And I think for a lot of people, they want to get away from the wild card that is Daytona here at the end of the night.
Yeah, and so two of the biggest race scenes in NASCAR are the first 2 weeks of this season. You go to Daytona, you talk about, the premiere of the entire season. And then there's the longest race of the season with the Coke 600. And so Charlotte Motor Speedway, a lot of history. It's NASCAR's backyard, and it puts on a fantastic show. A lot of tracks that we currently run at. based off of that speedway.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. So Charlotte next week. By the way, I will let everybody know I will not be here with you next week on V-Speed because of real broadcast commitments calling the North Carolina East-West All-Star Games in Greensboro. But Bradley will be here. Somebody will be here. I'll look forward to seeing you guys again whenever we reconvene at Auto Club, Sonoma, Iowa, all coming up. Green flag back in the air inside the Walker's Ridge Plantation restart zone. Lap number 35 of 100, heading towards halfway. We're back under green, and it is Aaron leading them down into turn number 1 on the inside.
Looks like that outside didn't get going this time. Quentin Stewart fell back to around the 6th position. Everybody diving to the bottom, and that tells me everyone wants to tick these laps away. They want to try to survive for these next 70 miles or so and just see if they can make it to green flag pit stops.
By the way, you're looking at the scoring ticker, and you see the starting position where a lot of these drivers started. Look what impresses me. The top 10, there are, 32nd, started 32nd. In the lead is Aaron, started 39th. Allen in 8th, started 38th. Giglio in 10th. Look at the high climbers in this race.
Yeah.
Dowdy in the 23rd spot, started 33rd. He's climbing.
Combs in 40th. I mean, it's insane to see how fast these guys have picked up, and just, a quarter of the way through this race, they found their way to the top 10. And again, it goes back to a lot of these drivers finding that success. It's an art form at racetracks like this. You can boil it down to a different kind of talent. As you watch Quentin Stewart trying to make moves to the inside, he's finding his way around. He's going to probably pick up 2 or 3 more positions with that move.
Aaron in the lead. Again, that's Thomas. Aaron right now up in front. Thomas now back to second. Look at Justin Clapper now. By the way, representing the Champions of Hope Foundation in Mania Club 63. He's powered his way down to the number 3 spot. How cool will it be to win on the night that he's sponsoring his sponsor of the race? And you're on board. Eye on the track to the right. That's on board with Clapper. On the left, eye on the driver. There's JC working now. Started 6th. He's comfortably in 3rd, working in turn 3.
And Clapper had actually fallen out of the top 10 in that first part of that stage. Clawed his way back up close to this top 5, but now for this restart, things benefiting him. He's got a front row seat to the lead right here. If he can just find his way to tick these laps out, I think the 99 of Quentin Stewart's going to hang with him here.
But you know what, Bradley, what did he really lose by doing that? I know you said he fell back inside the top 10 or outside the top 10. Listen, the first stage, it might give you stage points, but to be at the end, you got to win the race. That's where the bragging rights coming to be the winner here for round 1 of the QSR Simulations Cup Series Next Gen Series program. Right now, just kind of right there watching all of this battle going on, a 2-car tango between Aaron and Thomas. Clapper is licking his chops, ready to pounce on them. If they make one wrong slip, he's ready to capitalize. Might be a little too early right now. Battle for 6th, 7th, 8th as well in the back. Dobbs, Allen, Likens, the white number 3, right back in the top 10 again as they work in 1.
Likens jumped up in front of the one at Goons 21. I saw there with the 18. Remember, he had worked his way up into the top 10. Frisbee, a little part of some of that at the end of the stage, getting around that 21. But Wilson is slowly, methodically picking his way back to this lead. He wanted that stage win, but he would love it even more if he got the race.
So guys, one of the things in my new broadcast script for this series was to find a driver profile to talk about the driver of the day, and I'm going to go ahead and do it right now. I'm talking about Quentin Stewart, and the reason why is this will be his 45th career race tonight. Look at him right now in the QSR Simulations, number 99 from Charlotte, North Carolina. He started the race at 15th. Right now, he is sitting comfortably in the racetrack in a very good spot, just kind of watching everything happen in 15th, but he is the all-time starter for the series. Tonight is his 45th start. He has 1 career win, 8 top 5s, and 29 top 10s. But again, Quentin Stewart, the man behind QSR, and the all-time starter of the Cup Series right now, leading as our driver of the day. I might pick another one later, but right now, big thanks to Quentin Stewart, and he's our driver of the day here tonight at Daytona. Right now, it is Wilson back out in front again. There's the 21 as we continue to see all of this other action happening in the back. You saw Downey and Burleson and Dobbs racing. Now we see Likens in the number 3 with a push by Giglio. Gives him a shot to the lead on the outside out of 2.
The 18 not giving much help down there to that one in Goons 21. You're seeing a lot of shuffling around up here for the lead, and it's coming from the outside.
Yep, he says, I'm done being your partner now. Now he jumps out of line, leaves Likens hanging. Blake Giglio from the last row to the lead, heading towards halfway in Daytona. Look at the 18, started 38th. Now he leads in Daytona. We're side by side in full song, climbing the bank into 1 there, Bradley.
16 car is bad fast. And of course, there's no fast repairs. We talked about how he got that EOL and had to start at the tail end of this field, and you came all the way from the end as we have some problems in the back of this field. Some shuffling around Alan Dobbs. Not sure what happened off of turn 2. Let's take a look.
Tony Burleson also. Tony Burleson also. Let's watch and see what happened to Dobbs and Burleson. We still stay green. Whoa, Montgomery in the wall with the belly yellow 24, but no caution. That stacked everyone behind them. I think we're still green. We are. Look at Montgomery as he hits the safer barrier in turn number 2. That's the black 24. Oh, boy, somebody got into it. Was that Greenwell? I think the 12 got into him. Yes, sir.
One more look here on board with Greenwell. He's going to take it 3 wide here. And I thought he had enough clearance. Apparently he did as well. When he saw the outside checking out.
We are under caution now. So the caution is out.
I still have a green flag here on my end of things. I'm not sure if something else happened.
Yeah, we are still good. My apologies. Okay, so the replay colors in yellow. I'm sorry. I thought that meant that we were under caution. We are not under caution. We are still under green flag conditions. Giglio leads over Wilson, Frisbee, Bryant, and Fiel, the top 5. My apologies, everybody. I saw the replay, and it was in yellow, Bradley. I thought it meant we were going under yellow while you were showing the replay. I'm sorry on that. I'm new to this series. NV Speed will still stay green, and it is still Giglio with now Bradley Wilson trying to get back to the lead as they work in 3.
A little step out there from Bryant as well. And it looks like a checkup. The inside line is very healthy now, about 11 cars deep. You have to go all the way back, even longer than that, to find any side-by-side. It looks like maybe the top 15 are breaking away. And the 28 of Norman King that had a little bit of damage there from that incident when we went back green. Looks like he's fallen back to 21st position.
Give you your top 10 very quickly as Blake Giglio from 38th to the lead. He leads the way. Then you got Bradley Wilson 2nd, Frisbee 3rd. Bryant, the stage 1 winner, is 4th, and Fiel right now the top 5. In 6th is, of course, Aaron. Then it's Likens, followed by Thomas, McCombs, and Trago. That's the way they stand as we are closing in on the halfway mark of the Mania Club Champions of Hope Foundation 250 at Daytona. Right now, closing in on lap number 46, working lap 47, and we're heading towards the halfway mark of this race. The guy that impresses me, Blake Giglio. Remember the trials and tribulations, again, that he went through last week. Lost a duel that he won because of a miscalculation, but he still said, I've got a good car. That's what he told me this afternoon. He said, Wesley, watch me come to the front. I'm here, I'm ready. Giglio has now found daylight. He's up in front. He's got clean air in front of the nose of that car. He's got a swarm of bees behind him. But look at how good that car is. He pulls away in 3.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it, too, that's helping him is there's nobody to his outside right now, and he can just quietly run his line down on the bottom. Bradley Wilson can give him a shot. There's no contest on the outside line to really reel these guys back at all. And if you're Bradley Wilson, you can keep your tips well. So he can step out, he can kind of lag back. You see here in the entry of 1, he's putting about a half a car width there between him and the 16. That's going to allow air to hit that front end, and it gets right back up on the bumper. But if you watch off the back of Blake Giglio's number 16, as soon as they hit the entry to this corner, Wilson's going to back up and get some air into that inlet.
Bradley Wilson right now just kind of lying patiently watching all this going on as that Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 makes a run on the Ford entry of Giglio. Right now, another couple of laps away to the halfway mark of this race. What a show we're seeing right now. Giglio, Wilson, Frisbee, followed by Bryant and Fiel, all single file, all working their way. By the way, hello, a big shout out to Wanted Goons. Wanted Goons sponsoring the duels last week in Daytona. It's on a couple of these race cars. It's Giglio is the man. That's the Wanted Goon leading them down the way into turn number 3.
There's a look at it as they come off of turn 4. You can see a lot of these cars are labeled with that right now, and they are dominating the top 5.
Teammates right behind them. All of these guys right there racing with one another as we approach halfway. Next time by, it will be 50 laps completed, 125 miles down, 125 miles to go with 50 laps left on the balance. It's Giglio, followed by Wilson, Frisbee, Bryant, Fiel, Aaron, Likens, Thomas, McCombs, Clapper, top 10, top 3, trying to pull away the trio pack into turn 3.
Amazing to me how when you have confidence in the guys around you, you can push so far ahead of the rest of this field. These guys are going to be hard to pass. When you're 5 cars deep, that's a train, and it's going to be a long train to try to outrun at the end of this race. Halfway through now, 125 miles to go. Wesley, it's looking good for this Wanted Goons team right now.
And what's your take of the first half of the race? It was a little hiccup to start, but once we got things rocking and rolling, you know, for the most part, it's been a quiet race here in Daytona. Maybe a couple of multi-car accidents, but for the most part, there's a lot of respect going on with everybody on this racetrack, I think.
Absolutely is. And now at this moment, at the halfway point here on V-Speed, we have a segment that's new here to the series. We didn't have a chance to do it in the duels, but now we have the opportunity in this 250-mile race to find those remote controls, and let's crank it up. Presented by MSR Performance. Crank It Up, presented by MSR Performance, and Blake Giglio is still leading. They are single file all the way back to the tail end of this front pack, and it's, I believe, Jared Ziegler and some of Alan Dobbs, Opitz, and a few others that are just kind of on the tail end of this, and it's back to Wyatt Walker in 25th position. They have about 10 seconds separating them and this front group.
Yeah, big thanks, by the way, to, again, Mustard and Seed Racing, as we are approaching the midway point of the race here, second half of this race. Let's take a look right now of the race analysis or race summary of where we are heading towards lap 55. There it is, your race recap so far. Just after halfway, the stage 1 winner was Brantley Bryant. Couple of cautions in the opening stage, and then there's been one caution flag in the start of stage number 2, and there's been 11 lead changes right now. The man that we're bragging about, Wanted Goose, number 18, 16, Blake Giglio, started at the rear in 38th position. He has worked his way up to the lead. By the way, the top 5 cars, they're all teammates of Wanted Goons as they work their way again off turn 4 at lap 55.
And you're looking at the stage winner on board with Bryant right now. It's just been a dominant performance from the Wanted Goons cars so far. Nobody's contested them pretty much since we went back green. They all found themselves kind of picking this field apart. There's a couple of them back here that haven't quite found it to this top 5. But I have a feeling it's just a matter of time before they all get grouped up. After these pit stops, you know they're coming down together.
Green flag pit stops should be happening. I got a feeling around lap 60, 65, somewhere in that neighbor. As right now, we are working our way, unless we get a caution. But if we don't, we will see green flag pit stops happen. And another question is, who will go for the undercut? Who will be the guy that says, okay, maybe there's a strategy that I need to use differently on these fast cars. Maybe I can pull into the pits, take advantage, try to get some, try to see what the strategy of the race will be. Because one thing we know, when they start coming down pit lane for green flag pit stops, this is also going to spread the field out, if you will. We won't have those big packs of traffic right now where they're in a single file conga line leading down the back straightaway. We'll see things kind of taper off around this 2.5-mile racetrack. Right now, it is Blake Giglio leading. You're on board now with the driver of McDonald. He is in the 29 in the 16th position. That's about what it looks like mid-pack. And T. McDonald, by the way, got himself a cold one after he won Duel 2, Bradley, last Tuesday night here in Daytona.
Started up on that front row on the outside, but has ran a quiet race so far. The 29 just trying to keep the nose on it. He said he wanted to keep it clean and finish this thing out. And as you can see, everybody around him kind of on the same page. It makes it a little bit easier when you're not having to fight with guys trying to go 2 and 3 wide every time we go into a corner. And of course, like you said, the undercut, the strategy. I think right now, if I'm playing that game, I would probably pit with whoever is around me. That's the main concern when you pit at super speedways. You want to have a partner coming off of pit road, because if you pit by yourself, as we approach lap traffic here, the 13 up to the outside, they're going to go through the middle, and the 13 of Brent Allen moving up high. Not sure about that move. He's going to put everybody 3 wide here.
Boy, really a scary moment. Just a second as the 13 up on the high side, the 40 and the 24 down on the inside. Luckily, everybody was able to thread the needle, move right up the middle of the racetrack, and then they get right back down to the inside of the racetrack again. But yeah, back to your point though, is what you were saying, Bradley. Friends, you got to have them. You got to need them. And if you have a frenemy, let's try to work with each other. Hey, let me work with you on pit road. Let's at least tandem draft with one another, because if you've got teammates, I got a feeling when Blake Giglio in the Wanted Goons top 5 say we're coming down pit road, when the 16 shows a sign that he's coming to pit road, I promise you, bet your bottom dollar that every Wanted Goons teammate is probably going to follow the ladder and go right down pit lane with him. Monkey see, monkey do, if you will. And obviously, you got your teammates with you. That's what he needs to have happen, as that'll be coming up here in probably the less than 10-minute laps.
Yeah, I don't know exactly when the perfect number would be. We're 30 laps on this stint since the last time they pitted during that stage caution break. This would put us right around that 40 to go mark now. I think 5 more laps will split it in half. That's probably the window. So I'm going to bet lap 65 to 66 is when you're going to see them all pour in.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, I told you literally between 35, 40 laps on the tank of fuel. I don't think they're going to push it all the way to a 40 lap and drain the fuel tank dry. So literally, like you said, 65 to 70, you're going to see them come down pit road. I believe between 65, 68. Pit stops are going to happen. Guys are going to be coming down pit road. And if you got teammates, you're going to see them all get in line. They're going to start to shuffle. You're going to see them break out of the formation of where there are pack racing right now. And all this will take place. And it's about to begin, I believe, at any moment. Who will try to go for the undercut, as I mentioned right now? No showing signs of stopping for the entire cavalry as they thunder their way back across the stripe. 40 laps to go here in Daytona.
Watching a little bit of 2x2 action brew back up around Alan Dobbs and the 8 of Austin Dowdy. Tristan Pena in this as well. This is around the 20th position. These drivers that are moving to the inside committed to pit road, but I think Dobbs is just trying to get some momentum going with his teammate in the 22.
By the way, if you're keeping up with the miles of the race, this is 150 miles complete. 40 laps is 100 miles to go here in tonight's Mania Club Champions of Hope Foundation Daytona 250. By the way, here's something that completely blew my mind. We're racing in daytime as well, Bradley, not nighttime conditions. That's totally different than what these cars raced in the duels last week. So obviously, that's something that also you got to try to adapt and see how it changes or ill handles or is in favor of your car as they work their way into the corner. Look at this, under attack. That's the 48. Oh boy, hold on. Jeremiah Nelson got a whole trunk full of a bunch of cars coming after him there on the back straightaway on the outside lane in 3.
And that was the 22 machine. Jason Blaney's actually scored as a lap down, as is the 13 machine. These are the cars that kind of split this row of the top 5 when we saw that 3 wide earlier. And it got a little bit dangerous, but there's a big move here. Look at the 48 go.
And look at Blaney pushing the 48 of Wilson. That just shows you how really good that car of the 22 of Jason Blaney is. He is able to show his strengths even though he's a lap down. All of this going on now as we are approaching the end of this cycle where pits are going to happen. Look at these guys. I got a feeling we're about to see it. You saw them go from the outside lane. They dropped from the outside. They got to the bottom. We're going to see this as Bryant doesn't slip. Your stage winner, Brett Carr. Bryant got a little loose for a moment. Will they peel off? Who's peeling off? It looked like maybe they were trying to peel off in the back, but they're blocked. You got to know when you're coming to pit road, and you got to let your other guys know around you too. Not yet as we work back into turn 1.
For every lap that goes by here, Wesley, that tells me that this whole top 25 is going to pit together.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a recipe for disaster if they all hit pit lane together.
Yeah, you're exactly right. That's why I kind of hit it on the fact that it looked like a couple of guys in the back were trying to show that they were peeling off from the outside 3rd lane down to the bottom of the racetrack to come to pit road. But then it got really wiggly. It got unsettled, if you meant, for a moment. Right now, there was a disturbance. Now they got to reset. Now they got to refocus and start again. Here we go. Here we go. They're pulling in. Here they come on pit road. And it is everybody, for the most part, of the top 15 or 20 coming down pit road. Here it goes. And the teammates of Wanted Goons are in also, Bradley, just like they rehearsed.
What they wanted, they got it. Perfect execution.
You saw them pull out of line. You saw them pull out of line. We watched them a moment ago kind of shuffle from up to the top or the middle lane. They got to the inside. They knew they needed to commit. Here comes all of the Wanted Goons and more coming down pit lane. Blake Giglio, 4 tires and fuel. Here comes more guys pulling in front of those guys and back onto the racetrack. Now you've got Thomas. He is your leader, the man that started the race on the pole. Here comes now the second formation of cars. One man by himself. You don't want it to happen. You see this? This guy alone by himself. This is not what you wanted to see. Hopefully somebody pulls in behind him. Or right now, a sit and duck indeed for Aaron on pit road in the 93. And the survey says, no, you're on your own. This is exactly what you do not want to do when you are restrictor plate racing and you come down pit road solo here, Bradley. Wow.
The second group will probably come down this time around. Austin Thomas leading this pack. I'm really surprised only one car peeled down. But for every lap that goes by, that's telling me that nobody really has a partner here in the rest of this field. It was one of Goons, and then everybody else is just fighting amongst each other in the 48 and the 3. There's Likens, the 48 down as well. He locks it up. Maybe a penalty? No, I think Jeremiah Nelson got away with it.
Nelson, Likens, all on pit lane. Here comes another group, as you mentioned now. All this happening here. Green flag pit stops happening on lap number 68. Lap 67 of this race, working lap 68, excuse me. And there is the leaders now. We got a caution out on the racetrack. This changes everything with about 33 laps to go. Yellow flag is out. And it's Montgomery in the mellow yellow 24 to put us under the yellow flag, limping down the super stretch. The number 24 machine. He was already a lap down, maybe more. We saw him literally get split by the Wanted Goons team of Giglio before the green flag pit stops. And now here's a look at what happened to it, Bradley. Oh my goodness. Front nose into the wall. Could have been a lot more dangerous than what it turned out to be. Just a single car spin. Now, if there's anybody that is happy that the mellow yellow car spun out, Pepper Traders, number 24. Actually, it's the Pepper Traders machine, by the way. It just looks like the mellow yellow colors of the movie Days of Thunder, or when Kyle Petty used to drive in it. But I will tell you this, though, Bradley, if there's anybody that's happy that the caution came out, oh, hands down, it's the white 93 car. It's Aaron.
Yeah, he pit solo and got into a situation that he didn't predict. I know sometimes these guys will call out pit and they'll be calling it out for the next lap as they come out of turn 4. And so maybe he heard someone calling it out, decided, okay, I'm going to come in. And then when you see that entire line of cars just thunder on by, it's not a good feeling. I know for him, that's probably a relief. And luckily, this track is big enough that he's able to stay on the lead lap. If this would have happened at a track like Atlanta, he probably would have ended up some laps down because of that caution coming out the way it did.
Well, gentlemen, it's been a while, ladies and gentlemen, that we have not took a commercial. Look at this, more guys coming down pit lane. We're going to take a pit stop as well, settling in for 30 laps to go here in the Daytona 250 V-Speed Network. We're back at the Virtual World Center of Racing as it is about to get good in the neighborhood to determine round 1 winner of the season.
God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
to Josh Adams.
Lights off on the pace truck, ready to settle things here in the Daytona 250, presented by Mania Club and Champions of Hope Foundation. Wesley Outland, Bradley Cooper alongside. Hope you're ready for the shootout, because I got a feeling with 28 laps to go, it is about to get wild here at the Virtual World Center of Racing. Aaron, by the way, if you want to say anybody that got lucky, it is the 93. Came down pit lane by himself. Caution came out. No penalty for pitting alone, Bradley. And when the caution failed, he is the new leader in the 93. He's up in front.
Worked out perfectly for him here.
It did.
Couldn't write it up any better than that as the pace truck pulls off. And this will be, I believe, our 5th time going back green here at Daytona.
Ready for the field to make their way back into the restart zone. As we mention again, another sponsor, Walker's Ridge Plantation. Green flag back in the air. We're back to racing again here at the World Center of Racing. Aaron now falling back. Blake Giglio, the 16 on the outside lane. He goes back to the lead, gives it back to the inside. Here comes Aaron. He'll get a push by Wilson. They'll work their way side by side to the back straightaway, stride for stride.
Watching on that high line with Giglio. He's been strong, and 18 and him were working together earlier in this race pretty well. But right now it looks like the 93 has the momentum coming off of turn 4. Again, going back to the way that caution fell, perfect for him, pitting alone, not what you wanted to have happen. But thankfully a yellow doesn't just bail him out, it puts him in the top spot. But look at the one in Goon's car is going to work against him as they go into turn 1.
And now Wilson's going to lead again. There goes the 21. There's Fiel up on the outside. Fiel on the 81 up on the high top in that Ford. Now you've got McCombs, Aaron. Now they're side by side for just a moment. What a job for Wanted Goons. I don't know who they are, but they are working together as a team, and it is showing from the top to the bottom in the middle lane. Look at Giglio hook up with the number 12 of Greenwell. He was in the back a few moments ago, by the way, Bradley. He's now fighting for the lead on the outside out of turn 4.
He's going to take it as well here on lap 75. He'll be this time by 3/4 of the way to finish this 250-mile race. But the 16 leaves him out to dry. And look at that, Giglio back to the top spot.
A little push there for a moment, and we've got a caution. Yellow flag out over the racetrack as we have another on-track accident. It's the Pepper Traders number 24 of Matthew Montgomery again. Shower of sparks. The front hood looks like it's laughing at us as it flops in the wind. It is a done day for the 24, and it puts us under another caution flag here at Daytona. Here's a look at it. Oh boy, oh, it wasn't even his fault. Nowhere to go for the 24 of Montgomery, actually, Bradley. Wow.
That's Tay McDonald that he just drove through.
Hey, McDonald, the man who won Duel 2, started on the outside of the front row for this race. Look at that.
That's net coded if I've ever seen it. Tay McDonald didn't even pick up really any damage from that, but it destroyed the 24 of Montgomery.
Break.
Tay McDonald's down on the apron. He's trying to catch this thing, man. He bounced all over that apron, and the 24, of course, it's what feels like probably a sand trap that stops those sand traps on the side of those mountains on the highway. That's essentially what it looked like.
Caution out. Another one. So my question for you is this, Bradley. Are we going to see anybody come down to the pit lane? Do you think anybody's going to top off, get tires and fuel, or do you think we're content with what we have for the finish of this race?
Well, the real question here would be, did you take enough fuel in case we have green-white checkers? You know, a lot of these guys will dial in the fuel strategy for the weight of this car to stay lower, and they'll come down to, you know, within 1 or 2 laps of the regulated distance. But if we go into overtime, we extend this race, you know, another 6 laps, we have 2 green-white checkered attempts to do that, plus pacing. This car's out here burning fuel, and yeah, you are going a little bit slower, the RPMs are low, but that's still fuel used up, and it can mess with your calculations. Do I think anybody came down, I mean, and short pitted? I don't know. With 4 fresh tires, if you come in and get 4 of them, there's really no reason not to take a full tank of fuel. But if you came in for a fuel-only stop, you might have taken exactly enough. I see a few cars that are coming in. I think Johnny DePasquale came in and topped off just now, so he'll come back out on the racetrack. Ethan Wisnowski also in that same boat. And, of course, Tay McDonald, who's getting damage repaired back here. He's in a situation where that car probably has damage that doesn't make sense right now because of that net code.
You know what I love about you, Bradley? You'll call it like it is. You'll call it net code, because sometimes some networks, or iRacing specifically, they'll frown at us broadcasters and they'll say, no, don't use that word. Well, what other word can we call it? Like, seriously, here comes the computer goose that just made you hit your car and hit the wall.
Yep.
No, it's net code, bottom line. And basically, for somebody that might not know what net code is, it's basically when two signals of computer, wireless, or DSL, or whatever it is, all hooked up together, does not mesh, and it gets intertwined, if you will. And then, Bradley, sometimes this guy was supposed to be here, and actually he's there, and there's a lag, and then bam! And that's like what just happened to Montgomery there. Like, literally, the Tay McDonald got lucky. His car should probably be as badly destroyed as Montgomery's car is, and because of net code, it's not.
Yeah, it's clients talking to a server. Every one of these drivers has an IP. It talks to a server that talks to all the other cars, gives the location. And sometimes over that vast network of people, I mean, we're racing all over the country. Some of these guys might not even be stateside. They might be on islands or out in Hawaii. I've seen that before. And so for a lot of times, the fact that we can even stay in contact with one another in real time, that number can get a little bit higher. So that ping sometimes gets desynchronized, and you see cars do things that are, you know, a little out of the ordinary. But again, it goes back to, yeah, iRacing maybe doesn't want us to talk about this, but it is a factor in the realm of esports. And, you know, I've battled with it. You try to get your connection as stable as you can, but there's always those unforeseeables, weather, or, you know, maybe a network issue, something local in your house, wife watching Netflix. That's been a problem for me in the past. It just, you never know. And, you know, it's part of the factor. Yeah. It's a factor of sim racing. It kind of equates to equipment malfunction, you know, like an engine detonation.
I don't want to spill the beans, because obviously I enjoy working with all you guys on V-Speed, Bradley. But, like, for instance, when we took that last commercial break, Bradley said, hey, Wesley, you got a little bit of a lag. Can we figure out what it is? We both had to leave the broadcast Discord server to come back and fix it. So, I mean, for kind of us, that's a broadcast, you know, net code, if you will. Yeah. So it's not just on iRacing. It could be on the realm of anything. And I tell people this all the time, and people, you know, whether believe me or not, I work in the industry. You could have a cloudy day and your internet's horrible. You could have sunny days and it's 100 degrees and your internet is not working like it should be. It can lag. It can be slow. It can drop megabytes per second. And there's nothing nobody can do about it. It's just a fact of what the weather's doing. If you're outside and you're using internet and you're not plugged hardwired in and you're using Wi-Fi and it's storming cats and dogs outside, that caused technical issues. And now we're ready to go back to racing. Walker's Ridge Plantation restart zone. Under 25 to go. Back to green. Ready to settle it here at the World Center of Racing in Daytona.
Big jump out there for the Wanted Goons cars, all on the inside. They're going to find their way back to the bottom. That's exactly what they want to do. They're getting more and more of them up here into the top 6, 7 cars. The 37 has kind of been the odd man out every single time on these restarts. Trevor Trego has just tried to find his way to his teammates. He has one of them behind him going down the backstretch.
Look at this. And by the way, jokingly, they're teammates, by the way, Bradley, but eventually the wanted goons are going to get greedy. And they're going to be, I want to be the top wanted goon in victory lane. Right now, Blake Giglio up in the front, but there goes Wilson pulling out of line. He'll now go to second. Look at all this happening. Frisbee now, which way do you go? Do you go high or low? All this happening now as we hit 20 to go. Next time by here in Daytona. Strap in for the final 50 miles, my friend.
And the check up here on the inside is right on board with John Fike in the number 65. Fike has worked his way up from back in this field several times today. 37th position is where he started. Top 10, but it's Goons controlling both lanes. That's exactly what they wanted all along. They were controlling the bottom when we were running single file, but now they have to double up. They have to be side by side if they want any shot at dictating the outcome of this race.
Well, now that they have control of the outside lane, they control the narrative, if you will, Bradley.
Yeah.
You just talked about it.
The 63.
Justin Clapper spins. Got to lock it up so he doesn't damage it. He will. Caution out again, by the way. 20 to go.
Jason Blaney with a black flag. I think he has a meatball. That's some more iRacing lingo. But a black flag for his car being too damaged. Not sure. Oh, he's spun it out again here as the 63 had to avoid him.
Oh, there's Blaney as well, spun at the bottom of the racetrack. There he is. Wow.
That was after the fact. Man, he got the black flag right here.
Oh, no. Hold on, guys. Wow.
What happened to Blaney to put him down pit road like this? You're going to see the 63 in the edge of this shot, but there's the 28. He got contact from Johnny DePasquale, and the 22 just sails it into the exit of pit road there. And now I'm curious, this was simultaneous with the 63, and I don't think a caution would have come out for this spin with Clapper. But it does come out because of Blaney going back up the racetrack. But here's the shot. I think the 63 maybe thought about going to the middle or maybe the outside, and just gets kind of hooked there. Watch it from the blimp camera. This is going to do it justice. This is the 57 just behind him.
Yeah, the eye in the sky don't lie. Watch this, the aerial view. Oh, boy. Was that the 52 that maybe got in the Clapper?
57, I think.
Okay.
Jared Ziegler. I'm going to try to see if we can find him. And you're going to see the 63 move up the track a little bit here. And I don't know if it's because of that bump. A heck of a job there by Clapper not to hit the inside wall, though. He locked it down. We'll go on board with him one more time. And you're
what
going to go for a wild ride.
Too. This is Clapper. Whoa. Where you can't go nowhere. I mean, you just hold on and enjoy the ride, if you will. Pray you don't hit that inside safer barrier. And luckily, he did not hit it. Continues
and watch
on.
After this. So he's going to get it back up to speed. You're watching Blaney get back going on the racetrack, and I'm not sure if he misses a gear or what, but he snaps it back free. The car's probably broken, and Clapper has to slow down. He almost gets involved in something anyway after avoiding the wall.
Another caution out. Boy, oh boy.
Yeah. It's plate racing.
It's not over yet. It's not over yet.
It's kind of the product that when you group these guys back up, this could all probably resort back to the 24 and the bad day that he had. We're talking about the 24 machine of Montgomery, where his first spin there to the outside wall brought that yellow out during green flag pit stops. So that grouped this whole field back up. We probably would have saw a separation of 10 to 15 cars in kind of like pockets. But now we're in a situation where they're all grouped back up. Everybody that was outside the top 10 is eager to get back up there. And so we're driving a little bit beyond our means. We're pushing guys that probably don't need pushed. We're pushing ourselves when we shouldn't. And we're running out of laps to gain those positions, Wesley. So I think that's what we're seeing now.
Another caution out here as we are nearing the finish of this one. By the way, don't forget next week, round number 2, Charlotte Motor Speedway. That's where we'll be for race 2 of the point season. It will be a nighttime event, sunset into the night. 125 laps at Charlotte. That's the upcoming schedule. And at the end of 13 weeks, the playoffs begin in October at Vegas. That'll be a fun one. Make sure you plan to join us every Tuesday night, of course, 8 p.m. Eastern on V-Speed Network for coverage of the QSR Simulations Next Gen Cup Series of iRacing. Lights off on the pace truck, and the field will get ready to go back to green. There will be 15 laps to go in the Mania Club Champions of Hope Foundation Daytona 250, 16 remaining actually, and lap number 84 of 100. Well, let's set up your top 10 for you as they get ready to go back for a restart. Bradley Wilson back up in front again. Blake Giglio now in second. Trevor Trigo, correction, my bad. Kenny, yeah, it is Trevor Trago. Trevor Trago and Kenny Frisbee on row number 2. Ryan Fiel followed by Wyatt McCombs, row 3. Davis Greenwell and Aaron Thomas Thomas Aaron, row number 4. Brantley Bryant, the 52, by the way, won stage number 1. And John Fike, your top 10. Quiet night for Dylan Picklesheimer. We mentioned as we came on the air that he was put on probation after the shenanigans of what happened in the duel last week. Again, it's not my call. I'm just calling the races, but there were some very questionable things that happened that he was caused as being the controversial guilty party of. So the powers that be said, all right, man, you're on probation. If you do any other crazy stuff, you're done. Quiet night, though, for Picklesheimer. Dylan Picklesheimer right now outside the top 10 in 11th with a good run going for him as the field works their way back to the Walker's Ridge Plantation restart zone. Green flag back out in Daytona. 16 remaining, ready to settle it out here at the World Center of Racing to win the Daytona 250. Giglio back out in the hole shot in 1.
And dictating that start there with all your teammates, it makes it a lot easier to just count it down and go. You saw every one of those Goon cars move to the inside, with the exception on the outside right now. You do have side by side around the 10 car.
McCombs up on the high side. That is another Wanted Goons ride. What a race for Wanted Goons tonight. They better use it as a highlight reel for a promo video. Hands down, what a job they've done. And right now, 15 to go. And now, the quest of wanting to win. Friends become enemies. Teammates become blockers. What's going to happen as we settle it into the finish here at Daytona? They're in turn 1 and 2. And keep an eye as Picklesheimer tries to go to the top shelf now out of full 2.
Moved it up a lane here. There's the 99 we picked for driver of the day, Quentin Stewart. He's been quiet as of late, now up to 11th. When I was watching back there with the 8 of Austin Dowdy, he took him 3 wide for a brief moment and has fallen all the way back to 25th position on board with Dowdy.
That is Dowdy, and my apologies, that is Dowdy, and there is Austin Dowdy. The party's here, and he knows it. He's up on the outside lane. He is trying to get something started up on the top shelf where Grandma hides the cookies from Grandpa and the dentures too. Ready, the number 8 car, climbing the banking as they work into turn 1 with under 13 to go.
Watching how much this car is bottoming out, you can actually hear the RPMs dropping as there's a big checkup here in front of him with Ziegler and Dowdy. Nowhere to go. It's a traffic jam on the backstretch.
Working turn number 3. There's your eye on the track, the eye on the racer. And there goes the 48 up on the top side now. Got a question about the restart. It might be under review. As right now, Giglio leading now with Wilson right behind him. We're single file. We're 13 to go now. And look at the aggression pickup. Look at Quentin Stewart from Charlotte, the all-time starter of the series. Down to the bottom. He's moving into the top 5. He's making a run. Now after Greenwell and Bryant, the stage 1 winner, is also making a climb to the front. And we are 3 by 3 by 3 now. It's go time in Daytona.
Watching that outside fall apart again. Likens gets caught up in it. He'll fall behind Brett Allen. The 9 of Bickelsheimer, nowhere to go. The 199 of Galen Wunsch. First time we mentioned his name tonight. He's going to push out a line. He still can't get it going. They're going to continue to lose spots.
Up in the top 20, Wunsch, and now Nelson falling back. Walker as well. All this happening as there goes the Black Rifle Coffee Company entry. He's now trying to get something going up on the top. He can't get anything going either. Access denied. He'll free fall. Closing in on 10 remaining. It is now Giglio in the lead. Giglio in front. Wilson second. Frisbee third. Followed by Fiel, Greenwell. Hail Mary time's coming. Question is, who's going to survive it at the end of the race? Right now, Giglio leads them inside in 3.
Goes back to what you said a moment ago. Eventually, one of these Goons cars is going to get greedy, and they're going to decide who's going to win this race. Treble in the back with the 2 big wreck into the tri-oval.
Trouble, big pile up. Big name contenders crashed out in the tri-oval. The big one has just happened with 11 to go in Daytona. Oh my! More names we could say that are not involved of the cars that are involved. A massive crash puts us under another caution, and this shakes up the foundation of race number 1 for the QSR Simulation Next Gen Cup Series here in Daytona tonight. Unbelievable. I saw the 37 get shot out of line, and then all of a sudden, the field imploded. Watch this again, Bradley. You saw it right here. Watch this off 4. Oh, no. And was that one of his teammates, too? Oh, my goodness, Bradley. I think that was a Wanted Goons car that got into a Wanted Goons car.
Yes, it was. That's exactly what happened. Somebody on the outside got a bad push. I think it was the 10. I'm going back to watch it one more time, but I believe it was the 10 machine.
Yes, it is. Right there. They're side by side with one another. Look at this. He's right behind Greenwell. Oh, man. Man, you know what I think, Bradley? I think that Greenwell in the primer number 12, he checked up and, like, just kind of got sideways for a minute. The 10 hesitated, and when he did, that cost it right there. Wow.
Trying to find the best angle here to watch this all unfold.
Wow, wow. Restart stood, by the way. Restart stood. There was a little question about it, but obviously when they get in that box and you take off, you've got to fire. If the leader doesn't go in a certain time, it's fair game. And there's, oh my.
That's the best angle I have.
Wow. So many good cars collected from another angle right here.
That's probably 20 cars involved.
I jokingly said this, honestly, Bradley, that there's more cars we could say that survived it that were caught up in it. And that's not hashtag fake news. It's the truth. Yeah. Look at these cars littered. It is like a junkyard, a parking lot party, if you will, in the tri-oval. Not the kind of parking lot party you want to be a part of. And look at this, man. We are scattered, smothered, and covered without opening up a Waffle House. Look at these. Look at this destruction. Wow. Heartbreak. Heartbreak. And again, I say again, Wanted Goons. Couple of teammates. making a mistake, take each other out. It causes a big one. Unbelievable.
Also want to watch on board here. We saw the 99 dive it down pit road here. Watch this.
Quentin Stewart, that might have been the smartest thing that he could have done. Wow. That might have been the smartest thing the man out of the Queen City, Charlotte could have done. Wow. What was his view like? You just saw it. Crazy. Was that Thomas that got to his outside, I think, when he bumped him?
Yeah. Yeah, it sent him down into the grass, and then just trying to catch that car, send it towards pit road. And at that point, I mean, you're just along for the ride. It's, of course, very difficult to control in the grass, so you just got to kind of ride it out. Watching some of these guys here as we rack them back up.
Unbelievable.
I don't think we're done. I mean, we lost half the field, but that doesn't mean we don't still have some guys that are going to try to go back to the front. And unfortunately, what starts all that, like you said, was teammates. This is the one of Goons cars on the outside and the inside. The 10 gets shot down. The 93 got into the back of him. I think it was just a bad push there off the exit of 4. But unfortunately for the 37, it doesn't matter what caused it. It's the fact that he is now heavily damaged and all the way back in 29th.
No, you're exactly right. What a heartbreak, by the way. And I will say this, you can't be mad at the other guy in the Wanted Goons number 10. It just was a slip, and at the 37 was just the short end of the stick on the inside when all that happened. So, heartbreak. And even amongst the big wreck, the Wanted Goons are still in this thing, by the way. If I'm keeping track, I think they're out of the top 10, I want to say 7 out of the top 10 cars are Wanted Goons cars.
Yes.
You can't make this up.
I mean, they've kept it up there. And how about this for the 63 machine of Justin Clapper? Remember, he was sideways, aimed towards the inside wall of the tri-oval, and he's back up to 9th now for this restart.
Yeah, it's not over. It's not over by a long shot. And we're glad that you're joining us. Hope you've had fun. In the chat box, tell us who you think's going to win. Daytona back underway. Green flag. Walker's Ridge Plantation restart zone. And we are ready to settle it with 8 laps to go at the World Center of Racing. Some cars are damaged. Some are crippled, battered, banged, bruised. Some are out. But for the moment, if you're in this pack, in the words of the great Mike Joy, you are in it to win it. Bradley, as they go to the back straightaway. Oh, correction, trouble. They're wrecking again in the back. The 9, the 5, they crash. More crashing as the dust settles. Caution out. Wow. Oh, boy.
This is Dylan Picklesheimer here. Let's watch this restart. There's a checkup on the outside, and I think it was the one of Johnny DePasquale. Watch right here, the 13 of Brent Allen. There's the 42 in the middle.
Oh, wow. I will tell you this. I know that Picklesheimer was under close scrutiny after what happened in the duels, but this is not his fault. Look at the Vans number 9. And look at DePasquale right there. Maybe somebody, that's that man right there in the middle. The green car.
Freeman.
Yeah, Freeman shot it 3 wide. What was he thinking? Well, I know what he was thinking. He's trying to win the race. We're down at the end of this thing here. Desperation moves are going to happen as you get to the end. And Freeman right up the middle. Got into the left rear of DePasquale. That's a perfect angle right there. That's perfect. And then Picklesheimer nowhere to go. And then, wow. Then the 5 and the 5-hour energy entry into the wall. Oh, man. Another caution.
Ethan Wisnowski there with nowhere to go. So it all starts to fall apart towards the ends of these plate races. It's not our first time here on V-Speed. We've watched many races go green to their entirety, and you get down to those last 10 or so laps, and it all kind of unfolds.
Can I say this? It's been a good race. It's been an entertaining race. It's been a fun race. It's been a clean race for that matter.
Yeah, we've had a little bit of everything here, Wes. We've had green flag pit stops. We've had stage wins. We've had different leaders. And now we're having cautions breeding cautions. And maybe we'll have overtime. I think this is like every possible outcome and situation you can have in a stock car event. You're going to see it here at Daytona.
Daytona at its finest, for sure. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we set ourselves up for the finish, overtime. What is going to happen as the Daytona 250 presented by Mania Club, Champions of Hope Foundation, get ready to get in the center circle of the ring and duke it out for the shootout at Daytona next.
I just got three things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
the victory, 128 laps without a pit stop.
Donnie Kite's gonna get through it all and score his first career win.
Saturday Night Racing League and throwback at Charlotte goes to Josh Adams.
Welcome back to Daytona. Field is working back into the restart zone again, proudly presented by Walker's Ridge Plantation, ready to settle the Mania Club, Champions of Hope Foundation, Daytona 250, 4 to go. 10 miles remain. Giglio from the rear, back to the front in turn one.
This is where the race is going to get really interesting here, Wesley, because you've got cars broken apart now. You've got Dobbs, who's been quiet all night long. He's lurking just outside this top 5 now into 6th position, looking to break up this tandem of one and Goons.
We're still on the regular scheduled distance as they work their way into turn number 3. Giglio, Wilson, Frisbee, Greenwell, Bryant, top 5. Everybody right there in it to win it, to the stripe. 3 to go now, 3 remaining. When do you pull out a line? When do you make a move on Giglio or Wilson? They're the top 2 guys up in front as they work into turn 1. 31 degrees of banking.
Ryan Field fell back to 10th. That outside not dictated. I know that the Wannagoons cars were trying to control both lanes, but it doesn't look like it's worked out. And there's Dobbs stepping out to the outside. He's already planning it. He's letting Tristan Pena know that I'm ready to go for this white flag.
It really is. By the way, they're working their way now off the corner. Here they come to the line. Penultimate lap of the race. 2 to go. 2 remaining, 5 miles left. Remember, if the leader takes the white flag, then the race will race back to the checkers. If we get a caution before the white, there is 2 attempts at overtime. Right now, it's a stalemate up in the front for the P1 spot. Giglio, Wilson, and company single file, but behind the top 10. They're crashing in the back. Trouble on the back straightaway. Caution is out. We go to overtime. It's imminent here in Daytona. Tay McDonald, Duel 2 winner last Tuesday night, involved in an accident and others on the back straightaway. Look at the frustration. Look at the agony for Tay McDonald. Crashed on the back stretch here in Daytona as we get ready for overtime. There it is, Quentin Stewart up in the fence, the 99 holding him off. Tay McDonald on his inside in the middle, and then there's contact and nowhere to go. The yellow car into McDonald, and that caused the chain reaction accident on the back straightaway to set up overtime now. Bradley Cooper.
Levi Opitz that got that contact, and that was another one of those where maybe the car moved up the racetrack a little bit. I don't know, but yeah, the 29 at Tay McDonald just put the nose in there, and the 00 thought the real estate was still there to come down, and we have overtime now.
We do, and we had a feeling we were going to see that, and we do. Here it comes. Wow. What a race, by the way. Not over yet. I've been very entertained.
This is on board with Jesse Gordon. He's way behind this, but watch him have to maneuver and evade this. Where do you go? Where do you go? Good job.
Wow. Such good cars involved. Man, oh man. And now, I've got a feeling, obviously, you've just forced the hand. I mean, the accident happened in the back, and I kept thinking to myself also, you know, Bradley, when are they going to pull out a line? Somebody's got to pull out a line. Somebody's got to go. Nobody went after Giglio or Wilson for that matter. They're all single file. It was a conga line. Now you literally set yourself up for overtime. There will be 2 attempts. The leader must get the white flag. I got a feeling that's not going to happen the first go around. We're going into overtime. And can anybody stop Blake Giglio? That's the question.
It gets more and more difficult when you narrow the race down to just 3 laps and you've got all those teammates behind him. They're going to dictate this restart on both lines. They're going to line up that way and most likely count it down in a way that all 4 or 5 of these guys up here are going to benefit. And when you count it down in Discord in a private chat, that also allows your teammates to maybe lag back a little bit and create a hole for the guys on the outside to just drop down in. And then once they get that momentum going to that white flag, it's going to be very difficult for anybody like Alan Dobbs, like Tristan Pena, Brent Allen, and the like. Everybody from 6th on back is working against this top 5. It just makes it more and more difficult when you can't get the car going.
Bradley, here's something else to think about too. Who has enough fuel? Who put enough fuel in the tank? Who can go for one overtime, but they can't go for the second? Who can go the distance? Who's going to have to peel off and pit here? Right now, nobody's showing signs of coming down pit road, but that might be questionable if we have another caution, because they might have set themselves up to only go to over lap 100. We've passed lap 100 now. We're at lap 101.
Yep, it's one of those risks, those gambles that you take, and with taking 4 tires, you probably filled the tank up, but even with that, you maybe pit so early during those green flag pit stops that you kind of put yourself to where you had just enough and didn't have enough to go all the way for an extension of this race. So we're extending it to 104 laps. We'll take the green flag at 103 by technicality. We'll come around for that green flag, and then the next time by, the white flag will fly. If we don't make it back to that, I guarantee you somebody's going to have to come down pit road, and hopefully it's not this top 5.
And that's literally what I've been looking at, because there are some guys that are going to be short here. By the way, this is lap 102. 102 of the race. We are in overtime. We knew that overtime hangs in the balance if need be. You already saw the little ticker down below. 2 attempts at a green-white checker. The leader must take the white flag. If he does not, we'll re-rack him, re-stack him, and go again. Now, in the second attempt, if there isn't caution before they take the white flag, then the field is frozen, just like NASCAR. At time of caution, field will be decided for the finishing order from there. At any time, the leader takes the white flag. Bradley, whether it's attempt 1 or 2, it's fair game. Wreckers, checkers to the finish. There's going to be a winner.
Just like classic NASCAR, race it back to the finish line. Will we make it? Green-white checkered attempt number 1 with Blake Giglio, Bradley Wilson, the front row. 2 Wannagoons cars to dictate the start, and a lot of hungry drivers behind them. Green flag is out. 21 Wilson commanding this lead.
There goes once again Blake Giglio. He'll give a push. He'll power his way from the Walters Ridge Plantation restart zone back to the green flag and back to P1. Wilson, by the way, who was gonna win stage number 1 until the little bump there by the 52 of Bryant. By the way, Bryant is right there in that battle. They're gonna have a lap to get up to speed. Here they come down the back straightaway. It's Giglio leading them down on the inside, heading to turn 3.
A lot of turbulence, a lot of movement going around there with Alan Dobbs. He's moved up to the outside, the inside, wherever he can feel he has the best advantage. But off of turn 4, here's the white flag in the air. One more time around. Extension of 250 miles. It wasn't enough. Here we go with Giglio on the inside.
This is it. The leader takes the white. It's fair game. We race to the finish, and now
81's
they're wrecking in the back. Trouble in the back. The 81's to the fence. The 84, the number 42, crashing in the wall. There's another hard slam into the outside, safe for barrier. Nonetheless, we race on down the back straightaway. On the inside, here comes Likens, the white number 3, trying to get something going on the outside lane. Greenwell with a push by the 54 in the middle. Here they come through the tri-oval, off of turn number 4. Blake Giglio from the rear to the win. He takes the Daytona 250. Wilson with a charge on the outside. He could not get there. Blake Giglio, access denied after being DQ'd in Duel 1 last Tuesday. Started in the rear, started 38th. He wins the Mania Club Foundation of Hope 250. Champions of Foundation Hope 250 here at Daytona. Unbelievable.
They put him all the way as far back as they could in this one, and he still found his way to the front. Blake Giglio had the fastest car without a doubt here tonight.
Somebody cue up some Chumbawamba and Tum Thump, and you 90s babies know what I'm talking about. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never going to keep me down. That's exactly what Wanted Goons, Blake Giglio has done. He wins the Daytona 250, and he burns it down at the Virtual World Center of Racing. For all of you people that were haters out there or negativists on why he got sent to the rear after the duel, he just said, put this in your pipe and smoke it. He just came back and won the thing. That's exactly what he told me he was going to do. Bradley was shake it off and prepare for what he needs to do for the big race. He's made it happen. He wins. And I believe with this win, he's in the playoffs also, right? Right, Bradley? With this win, he's in the playoffs.
Playoff format, he's locked in. Win and you're in. He's required to make so many races throughout the season, but he's off to a great start here. Blake Giglio, your winner here at Daytona. We're going to take a quick break while we round up those final race results and talk to your top three. You are watching QSR Simulations Next Gen Series on V-Speed. More coverage right after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com. Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series.
Hey, we're back here at Daytona, and by request of some people in the chat box, they wanted to see the last lap of the race. So Bradley Cooper, our producer slash color analyst, will obviously give you what you want. He will show you the finish. And to be honest with you, Bradley, nothing much from here, man. I mean, Blake Giglio, his car was strong. He had his teammates of Wanted Goons behind them. I don't think they wanted to get greedy to try to win. They just wanted to have a solid finish. That's exactly what they did. Here they come off the corner to the line, and this is the way it finished.
This is the white flag right here, so this will be one to go. And you had the 12 on the outside. You're going to watch Alan Dobbs do the shake and bake. He gets to the middle off of turn 4. He did everything within his power to get 5th position. But man, was it difficult. There's the 81, another one in Goon's car in the background getting turned sideways. It was Ryan Field. But watch down the backstretch. Whoever took that shot to the outside wall, I'm yet to confirm the car number on that. What a vicious
That the
hit.
48, I want to say it was the Ally car, the 48 of Wilson maybe. Or whoever it was, yeah. And here they come in 3.
You're going to see the squeeze through the middle. Contact in the background here with Pena and 79, but right there across the line by about 0.05 of a second. Bradley Wilson made the charge on the outside, but it wasn't enough. And Blake Giglio from the back of this field to the front becomes your winner. And now that's the opportunity that we have to take it to our final race results. So we'll bring those up on the screen. It was Brantley Bryant who got the stage win. We'll actually put that up first with 15 lead changes, 9 cautions here tonight. And Wesley,
I feel like the race had 9 cautions though, Bradley.
No,
I mean, it really
it
doesn't
doesn't
feel like it did. It really doesn't.
Really does not. I mean, it was clean and green for probably about 60 laps in this event, with the exception of that one spin there in stage 1. And then when we came back green, we got to green flag pit stops for about 30 more laps.
Well, there it is. Blake Giglio will pick up the win over, of course, Mr. Wilson. Frisbee is 3rd. We'll grab the podium guys in just a moment. By the way, Brantley Bryant, or Bryant there in the 52, he was your stage 1 winner, so he does get awarded the first stage of the year for points. Then it's Dobbs, Pena, Greenwell. Man, he was kind of having an up and down day, right? Like it was like he was on a pinball machine. 1 minute he's cashing in, the next minute he's going for tilt. But what a solid comeback for the man in the number 12 to finish in the top 10 in the 12. 7th place, Allen 8th. Burleson, listen, I've known Tony Burleson for a long time for leagues that I've announced for. This has probably got to be one of the marquee moments for him to finish in the top 10. He started 3rd. He stayed out of trouble, mind you, Bradley, and that Bradley allows him to finish in the top 10. And how about Likens as well, the number 3? He tried to get something going up on the outside at the end. Nobody would go with him, but the Bass Pro Tracker Boats number 3, White 3, will finish in the top 10 here at Daytona.
Burleson just talking to us there in the post-race and the duels. He was just happy to finish that race. And he gets another one here. So, keeping his nose clean, did what he needed to do. And quite a few of these guys from 39th position, Brent Allen, big moves. And Giglio, of course, from 38th. Those two were EOL penalties from the duels all the way to the back of the field. And they work out a top 10. 63 Machine had the sponsor on the car that sponsored this event. He'll finish 11th. Jared Ziegler will finish in 12th position. It's Christian Ruck Regal in 13th. Halen Wunsch in 14th. Quentin Stewart, QSR CEO, will finish in 15th position, back to where he started. Then it's Michael Costner in 16th position. 17th going to Norman King. Wyatt Walker, 18th. Johnny DePasquale in the number 1 will finish 19th. And Jesse Gordon in the 110 getting 20th.
21st will be Walker. Pickelsheimer, got to say, for a guy that's put on probation, he had a very good, solid run tonight. Stayed out of trouble, just got involved in a late race caution. Still ends up with a top 25. Pennington, 23rd. Wisnowski, I was checking out his social media of his in-car. He had a good run, finished in 24th. McCombs, 25th. Opitz, Trago. At one time, Trago was up there fighting for the finish. He got taken out in the end. Fike, Freeman, Feel, all these guys finished in the top 30 when the checkered flag falls here, Bradley.
Well, here now, this is the other side of things. You saw all those drivers that finished in the top 10 that started outside the top 30. Now you're seeing drivers finish the top 30 or outside the top 30 that started on the front row. There's Tay McDonald in the number 29, finishing 31st from 2nd position. He was outside front row, won his duel. There's the number 93, started in 32nd and he was as high up as the top 10. He actually restarted with the way those cautions fell after the green flag pit stops. He was actually the leader at one point in this race. He's going to finish 32nd. Ryan Philbrick had a quiet night, 06, back and forth through the top 15, but never could get it going. He'll finish 33rd. Austin Thomas, your pole sitter, after winning his duel, he'll finish 34th. Then it's Nelson in 35th. Jason Blaney in 36th position. Austin Downey back to 37th. And then there's the 24 machine. I think he got caught up in almost every incident here tonight. 38th for him. Nathan Lyon, 39th. And then it's Leahy in the 40th. He was the first DNF here, first caution of the night in the 34.
Hey, by the way, I want to remind everybody, coming up next, as soon as we go live off the air on V-Speed, check out the QSR race watch or recap. Basically, it is a post-race show. Quentin Stewart will give all the details before we sign off. He wanted me to pass that along to you, but it's kind of like a recap of tonight's races, the highlights of the races. They'll have driver guests on and more. That is immediately following our coverage here tonight on the QSR social media platforms. I believe it's on their Facebook page. As soon as this is finished, QSR Simulations will have their race watch post recap show. So strap in for that one. Nonetheless, Bradley, let's go down the victory lane and let's grab the podium drivers and get their thoughts real quickly. First off, Blake Giglio, he picks up the win. He started in the back. Controversial whether people agreed with it or not, Blake. You said, hey, man, if they got me on a penalty, they got me. You started in the back. You still told me that you had a really good car. Man, I just did not believe it until probably right before halfway when you were literally fighting for the lead up in the front. Wanted goons. What a show you guys put on. What does it mean to go through the trials and tribulations of last week in the duels and be the top guy here in Daytona at the end of overtime? Congratulations.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, I think for sure, starting in the back, we knew, from the duels that it was not going to be easy, I don't think, to get to the front. So we took our time, made some moves. I had a teammate back there with me that we kind of made it through the field. And you're right there. Right at halfway, we were able to, get up front. And I think we led, what was it, like 50-something laps tonight. So we definitely had a hot rod. I'm glad we were able to get it done here tonight.
Man, I'll tell you what, can you tell us more about the Wanted Goons team and just the teamwork that you guys have? Because I tell you, I've called iRacing and real sports for that matter for a long time. You guys got something special in the esports world. It seems like it's a magical conjunction. It don't matter who wins. I know you're the top dog, but I mean, it was a team effort, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I can't thank all those guys enough, especially Bradley Wilson there for everything, and Kenny for pushing him as well. So they did a great job with that. I thought we worked together pretty good all night. Whenever one of us needed help, one of us was right there to grab us. So, I think we did a great job with that. Definitely have to go back and watch. I'm sure there's some stuff that we missed and we could do better. And I do apologize for Ryan there getting a little left out. But, overall, we had a really good run, and I'm glad we were able to pick up the win here for those guys to start the season.
Like at the end of the day, man, you're in the playoffs. What does that mean? That no matter what happens the next 12 weeks, as long as you meet the minimum races required, correction, you are locked into the playoffs, and obviously doing that right here in round one at Daytona.
Yeah, that obviously feels amazing. It's nice to have that pressure off you, right? You show up, you get the win, and now you can help your teammates out, right? You can be helping them try to get their wins, get them locked in, and we can just keep building up our bonus points, right? So we have a lot of options, I think, coming up, and I'm glad we were able to get the win here tonight.
Well, Blake, before we let you go, sir, please thank your sponsors, and we'll see you next week at Charlotte.
Absolutely. I want to thank you guys for broadcast tonight. You guys do a great job with that. I want to give a shout out to everyone at QSR for putting this on. Kenny for kind of being, our manager here, everything he does. OG Gear, Wanagoons, M9 Performance, CTC, just everyone that's on this thing, and Casey Graves for building this, painting this beautiful car.
From the back to the front, and the winner here to kick off season number 3 at Daytona, the driver, the number 16, that is Blake Giglio. Bradley Cooper of V-Speed is standing by with the runner-up of the race and another teammate to him, the number 21, Bradley Wilson.
Personally, I think it was old Brantley Bryant pushing me. Well, that's a joke, of course. Love all him. We got a little uncentered. I kind of knew on corner exit that it was going to happen just because I hugged down too much. So really wasn't on him, but just really happy we're able to hold on to it. And that's what we get, fourth in that.
Yes. Yeah. You were fourth place by about a couple hundredths of a second there. You held on to it pretty well. I was having a technical issue with my microphone just now. So for the question I asked, what went wrong? You responded, it was your teammate Brantley Bryant pushing. That was your direct response. What went wrong? So, I mean, you guys working well together though. You dictated the restarts, and for the last probably 30 laps, it was too wide. One in Goons all the way through the top 10 at one point. You guys had the top 7 positions.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is kind of like the first time all 7 of us ran, or all 8 of us ran into a whole race like this together. And granted, some of us have been kind of racing together for like a few years now. Like me and Brantley, like the connections there. We have a little screw up every now and again, but like I knew in that duel, me and that 16 machine, if we hooked up, we were going places. So I know it's kind of controversial for some people, but I'd much rather finish second than go for it and die.
Well, you finish second, you come home with a solid race. You got fourth place stage points. You get a top 3. You get to come talk to us. And most importantly, Bradley, who do you want to thank that put this number 21 on the podium tonight?
So got to thank one of Goons, OG Gear, the 16 machine for always trying to find the 21 nose out there, getting up front. Kenny for always pushing me. When we had 3 cars hooked up together, we were just absolutely flying. Everyone else in the One Goose team, Brantley, Ryan, Trevor, Wyatt, Davis, just you guys are putting this on. I mean, it's always a blast to go back. I've actually done a few different leagues with BSPs. Love you guys. QSR guys for putting this on, and everyone for showing up.
Bradley Wilson, second place finish here tonight at Daytona. Looking forward to seeing you in 1 week's time when we go racing at Charlotte.
All right, thanks, sir.
And finally, that brings us to our last of the podium finishers, Kenny Frisbee in the number 18. And I believe we have Wesley Outland caught up with him.
Yeah, we do. Kenny Frisbee obviously did not lead any laps, but I'll tell you what, he was definitely tossing, pardon the pun, the last name Frisbee, the action of how the finish of the race happened. Kenny, man, started 11th, finished it on the podium. Your take of this race, a good solid run for the number 18 machine.
Oh, yeah, amazing race. Obviously, just try to stay hooked up with Brantley and Bradley most of the run. Earlier on, we had Blake and Wyatt, able to create a third line and get outside. Once we were able to get in clean air and get 3 cars together, or 3 or 4, or like you guys are saying, the whole top 7, 8 at one point together, we kind of just were able to control and make sure that we had good finishes. Had a great, solid stage finish. So, great points day for me. I'm not complaining at all.
So I got to get to you because you were right there behind Wilson and obviously, eventual winner Giglio. Before the accident happened to set up overtime, it seemed like you guys were just in a stalemate. I mean, were the one and Goons kind of happy with just saying, hey, we stay single file, we're happy with the finish? Because it looked like nobody, and I mean nobody, was jumping out of line to make a move on the 16.
So, I mean, if we're single file all the way through, it probably would have been different. Like, I could have seen me or Brantley jumping out of line, trying to get the win, everything like that. But when we're already, top 3, people 3 wide behind us coming to the line in overtime, there's just no point in taking the risk. I'd rather finish 3rd than 8th. And it being that close at the finish is, a big dictator in that. If it wouldn't have gone to overtime and, like, strategy would have played out, I guarantee you it would have been somebody else up front. I mean, Blake probably still could have won, but it would have been a better battle for the top.
Well, buddy, I'll tell you what, please thank your sponsors, but what a solid race, man. What's your overall take of this race here tonight for the end of the Daytona 250, and a great way to start the season, right?
It was a great way. Got top 4 for Goons and then 5 in the top 10. Obviously, had a couple wreck out right before overtime and in overtime. So super happy with that. Super happy with the 18 car. Proud of everybody in One of Goons. Been here for the last year. Glad to be able to be a captain and bring in some really talented drivers and make things roll. Huge shout out to Maconi Setup Shop for everything, all the needs there. OG Gear for getting us geared up and set up, being a great sponsor overall. And then Kenny Frisbee designs for all of the nice cars that I get to run. Obviously, Kay designs for the rest of the cars on our team as well. So
there you go. There's the thoughts again of the driver, Kenny Frisbee. He will finish on the podium when the races conclude here tonight at Daytona. Obviously, Blake Giglio picking up the victory. Mr. Bradley Wilson in second spot. Third place going to Kenny Frisbee, and those drivers celebrate proudly when it is all said and done here tonight at the World Center of Racing. Well, real quickly, before we go off the air and wrap things up, I want to bring in Quentin Stewart. And Quentin, real quickly, I know we chatted a little bit about this last night, but let everybody know about what's coming up when we come live off the air. It's going to be kind of like a weekly post-race recap of all the events that the series does. And obviously a good solid top 15 finish for you as well tonight.
Yeah, so we're gonna have a post-race show every week, QSR Aftermath. So we're just gonna go back, rewatch the race, enjoy y'all's awesome broadcast, talk about it with the other members of the admin team, and go through that. As far as tonight's race, that was a lot of fun. We had a little hiccup there at the beginning, but we smoothed that over pretty quickly and turned it into a really good event. I don't know the exact number of cars that finished on the lead lap, but I think it was probably the most I've had in a league race for a super speedway. So. It was a great race tonight, great turnout. And we're gonna have. I'm thinking we're gonna have even more people next week. So really happy for our league, our admin team, all the hard work that those guys put in. That's Austin Thomas, Ethan Wisnowski, Austin Dowdy, Waylon Turner. All those guys work super hard to make all this happen, and they do a great job. So it really wouldn't work without them, and of course it wouldn't work without our great partners over at V Speed. So thank you guys as well.
Glenn, I got to ask you this question as well. I had to be the messenger of the bad news for Blake Giglio, obviously, of what happened last week. And there was definitely a mixture of opinions showed in the chat box, no doubt. And we love the passion of the fans, whatever their opinions are. But what can you say about Blake Giglio? He took the punishment. He said, hey, okay, this is on me. And then to start shotgun on the field and methodically, patiently work his way through the field and win this thing. I think that's honestly what you're looking for in the character of a true QSR Cup Series champion, isn't it?
Absolutely. And, he was a great sport about it as well. Me and him had a separate conversation regarding it. I know that it was in no way intentional. It's just one of those bang, bang things where it was a slip up. He came out and raced great tonight. You got to commend people when they come out and race great and overcome difficult circumstances. So shout out to Blake. He did a great job tonight. Shout out to our whole field. I was really impressed with all the driving. In a really chaotic situation with a really questionable fixed setup for my racing, which they need to work on. Whole bunch of different factors tonight, and the chaos of us having to fix the session, and everybody was a great sport tonight. So shout out to the whole league. I'm really grateful to have a great group of guys racing with us this year.
Bradley, you got anything for the boss here, Mr. Quentin Stewart?
I'm just going to be there for the QSR. I believe you call it Watch Party Aftermath. We're going to try to divide everything that happened, pick it all apart, and I'm sure that I'll be in there having a couple cold ones with you.
Sounds great, man. We look forward to it. We'll see you over there.
Alrighty.
Somebody get Bradley some beers. He said he wants some beers for sure. No doubt about it.
And, we'll send them now. We'll send them now.
Right.
And Quentin, one more thing, by the way, in closing, man, what do you got to think about Mania Club and Champions of Hope Foundation for stepping up and sponsoring this race? And hopefully they're involved for a lot more things to come. By the way, if you want to make a donation, mcchamps.org before we sign off the air tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always an honor to work with a great organization like Mania Club. I mean, through the oh, good Lord, I can't even say. Let's go with charity. All the charity work they do. It's really a great honor to work with a group like that who goes out of their way to help people in need and support good causes. So, huge shout out to Mania Group and Mania Club. We definitely want to see them back again as a title sponsor for more races here in the future. So, absolutely, those guys are awesome.
And by the way, Quentin Stewart is off on vacation next week, so the 99 will not be on the racetrack. I will not be in the broadcast booth as I have real all-star broadcast obligations in Greensboro. But thank you, Quentin, for putting together an amazing program. Fun time here tonight here in Daytona, and we'll see you down the road.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Thanks so much.
Hey, by the way, QSR Aftermath, what will it be on? People are asking, will it be on your YouTube channel or Facebook or something?
Yeah, so you'll be able to find it on YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch. So we'll be available on all of our three main platforms. You can just search QSR Simulations, and you can find us there. We should be getting that started here in the next few minutes. We're working on some admin stuff right now, but once we
Okay.
wrap that up, we'll make a announcement here in Discord. Should be, let me look at the time. Should be by about 11 at the latest. So just be on the lookout. We'll get going here in just a few minutes.
QSR Aftermath coming up. And by the way, there's a look at the next race coming up in the Queen City of where the home of Quentin Stewart is, the America's home for racing, Charlotte Motor Speedway. You're on deck. You're next after tonight's races at Daytona with round number 2 next Tuesday night of the QSR Simulations Next Gen Cup Series. iRacing on the Speed Network. Bradley Cooper, always a pleasure, my friend. Thank you for bringing me in for the chaos and mayhem of making this race work in Daytona. It was a wild one when it's all said and done. Blake Giglio, your final take of this, your final take of him, and we'll have a whole lot more, or they will have a whole lot more to talk about in the QSR Aftermath coming up at the top of the hour. But always a pleasure, Bradley. Thank you for having me a part of it.
Final thoughts on this one is the season is young, and the drivers that maybe had success here at Daytona, they're going to find maybe a struggle next week, as Charlotte is a different animal altogether. We have plenty of variety throughout this season and plenty of different races and venues. We will have flag-to-flag coverage all season long here for QSR.
Yeah, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. And obviously, again, we are on to the Charlotte Motor Speedway after a wild one here tonight where Blake Giglio has got it done. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to thank all of you for watching tonight's action of the QSR Next Generation Cup Series iRacing on the V-Speed Network. If you enjoyed tonight's event, make sure that you hit the subscribe button, hit that like, follow, and a share, and the V-Speed, as well as we will have always flag-to-flag coverage of QSR simulations, but also other racing action throughout the week, throughout the weekend, specials like Bradley was mentioning earlier, and we hope that you can follow us with the QSR Simulations Next Gen Cup Series all season long. From the virtual World Center of Racing, for everyone at V-Speed, for Adam Baker, Bradley Cooper, Quentin Stewart, this is Wesley Outland saying so long from Daytona International Speedway. Congratulations, Blake Giglio, the winner of the Champions of Hub Foundation Mania Club Daytona 250. We'll see you next week at Charlotte.